Yeah, that is really weird. I hit the phone button and nothing happened. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't hear any ringing. What's going on here?
Yeah, I was like, you can't tell me I missed a call that never came in.
You've got a reputation for that, Gator, though.
Hey, do you want some cold open material, Night Demon? I can send you. I'll start the conversation if you want.
Okay, that sounds ominous.
No. By the way, before we get started, I imagine you're going to purpose this for your show as well. Here's what I was going to plan on doing today. Our conversation with our catch up, what we've been doing. We'll talk about the exotic mission and, some of the kerfuffle going on Twitter right now with that. And then I wanted to go into my topic of the week. And then I figured you guys could go record your weekly roundup stuff, whatever you guys normally do. That way each of our shows is unique. So was that fine with you, Night Demon? I didn't know. We never talked about this.
Well, no, I was just going to let you do everything. And that was it.
Well, that doesn't sound fair.
Well,
I mean, are you serious? Welcome to Two Titans and a Warlock, a Destiny 2 podcast, dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that being said, let me hand you over to your host, the Triumph Hunting Titan, Night Demon, the pink-panted pansy, Peroty, and your Warlock Master Nova Bomb God, Mr. ToddtheGatr. And, no one responds in our life too.
Guess who just went live on his Twitch? I wonder if Mr. I'm not going to be here this week thinks he's going to be here.
Wait a minute. Why are we hiding from Respawn?
Well, because Respawn told us he was not going to be here this week.
Oh.
He specifically made a point to tell us.
It's in the show last week. I left it in because I thought people will ask where he is.
Yeah.
Oh.
He specifically said, I will not be here this week. I will not be available. And we have heard zero from him since that time.
Yeah, no communication.
What?
So we took it as gospel.
So we've already recorded the TWAB and the Roundup and all that stuff.
Okay. Would it be okay if I talk over you guys like Respawn does? Do you make you guys feel at home today, or do you want me to actually let you guys
prefer
talk?
It that way.
Yeah.
Really? You prefer that I talk over you like I am now?
Yep.
If you have some good stories about an airport or maybe some food, actually, if you can be actively eating while we record, that really would make us feel right at home.
Grits and egg.
Well, I'm drinking coffee. I guess we can hear. Hold on. I can do some slurping. Hold on.
Yeah. If you could slurp louder, that would be great. And like talking with your mouth full, a little bit of that too, it would really just set the stage.
No, I can't. I can try. Hold on. No, I can't do it. Uh-oh. What was that?
That's my mobile going. That is Respawn.
Respawn calling in? Oh, are we going to get a direct call?
Hi, Respawn.
Hi. Are we not doing a show today?
You're not here today, you told us.
I never said that at all.
Go back and check the show.
We literally have it on tape.
No, I never said. I said I wouldn't be at home.
No, you wouldn't be on the show this week. That's what you told us.
I never would say that. There was nothing planned for me to not be on the show this week. That makes no sense.
Well, we know it makes no sense.
Even if that was the case, where are you two? Why aren't you two doing the show?
We've done some show.
Because we made
the show's already done? Everything's been done? You just excluded me? That's fine.
Well, no, you said you weren't going to be here.
I didn't say that. You're saying that. I have no idea where you got that from, but that's fine.
You
don't want me on the show. You just say it. You don't have to go behind my back. You just be like, yo, Respawn. We don't like you. We don't want you. I'll be like, all right.
I'll just invite him in.
The end of the episode last
Hang on a second.
Now, I got to call you guys out because even though he says he won't be available or he's on a plane, he figures out how to get on the show anyway. Haven't you guys learned that?
Oh, yeah. No, but he literally said his wife would kill him this week.
Oh.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, no, and I assumed still there would be some. I assumed he would still show up, even with the threat of death.
Okay.
And sure enough, here we are. Yeah, but no, he said I will not be. I will not be available. We are doing something, going somewhere. I can't remember the reason, but
I don't think he even gave a reason. He just said his wife would kill him or something.
Okay, maybe he's got a death wish today. I don't know. I'll invite him in. Hold on. Yeah. Let me figure out what button to press here. Add person. Look for Respawn. There he is.
Prepare for 15 minutes of screaming.
Oh,
Okay,
no, we're going to have to put up with that now. We thought we'd avoid the...
Okay, I can do this, guys. I can do this.
We've already talked about the hunter changes, so we're good.
Okay. Maybe
if we don't
maybe,
mention it, he won't know about it.
No, maybe around... I heard about those nerfs. Maybe around me, he'll be a little more quiet. I don't know. I know. I had to say it. It was in my head. I had to put it out there. Come on, guys. All right, here we go. I'm adding them. Everybody hold their breath.
Yep. Holding breath.
3, 2, 1.
Torrent of abuse incoming.
Respawn, buddy.
It seemed a bit superfluous when we have a real...
Holy crap. Well, what is going on in the background, Respawn?
Perfect.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. What's up, man?
Where are you? You sound like you're on the other side of the room again.
No. Well, I moved I put my streaming setup away, so yeah, that's why.
You said you weren't going to be on the show this week, so that's why I didn't invite you. That Night Demon. Now, hold on. Now, I want to throw Night Demon under the bus here, but he did tell me that meet me at this time in this room, and Respawn won't be here because he said publicly he's not going to be on the show this week. So I'm like, okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. It just got awkward. Mommy,
I don't know why I would have said that. I had no intention of not being here. I don't know if it was a joke or taken out of context. I don't remember saying that because I knew I was going to be home this weekend. You know, I don't know how that was misconstrued or misspoken or misaligned or missed my mom. I have no idea.
I believe the threat of death was involved.
That's what I heard.
Luna was going to murder you. So she didn't murder you, so that's good news.
Oh, she was going to murder me because I was going to spend money that I didn't spend.
Oh.
Ah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Not be murdered to plus.
Yeah. Right. Being kicked off the show wasn't really...
Nobody kicked you off the show. Nobody kicked you off the show.
No, full disclosure. Full disclosure. I got to explain to Respawn what's going on. I've been bugging Night Demon for weeks to please come on my show. And he even said, well, I got something even better. Me and Peroty will be on your show this week. I'm like, fantastic. He told me nothing. He told me nothing about Respawn not being here.
This was after we thought you weren't going to be here because you had said you weren't going to be here.
What context? Like, my wife says she doesn't remember that. I don't remember that. Like, what context was that said? I might not be here next week, guys, because I think my wife's going to kill me.
So does that mean the next week and every week thereafter because you'll be dead?
Well, who do voodoo, she do voodoo, right? So she might resurrect me at some point. But
is there going to be a whole weekend at Bernie situation going on?
Probably.
What
a thing! It wouldn't be amazing.
We're glad.
Was it as like a joke or something? Because I said she was going to kill me. I don't understand what's happening.
I feel like I'm in the middle of something here that I'm not privy to. Okay.
No, you're fine. Are you doing your show right now?
Yeah, I'm recording right now, bud. I'm recording.
Oh, you're recording me?
Yeah, I'm recording everybody. Everybody's recording.
Biscuits and gravy. Did I curse already?
Now keep it in. I'm not worried about it. I don't. I mean, that's up to Night Demon. I'm going to send him the finished file. What he does with it is what he does with it. So I told him I don't have dolphin noises on my show, so we'll have to figure that out. But no, man, we're glad to have you, man. I know you can add to the conversation today. But shoot, more the merrier, man. Hell yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I mean, it's glad that you welcome me when my own friends have backstabbed me, but it's fine. It's whatever.
No, man, it's all good. It's all good.
We don't have throwing knives. We can't backstab you.
All right, well, hey, welcome, guys. I can't believe I got the whole Two Titans and a Hunter crew on the show today. This is unheard of to find all three of you available to be on the show, so welcome, everybody.
Oh, hi. There was a dead silence. I didn't know if it was
okay. I can edit
that.
Oh, don't worry. I'll edit that out.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to dead silence. That's your job.
Yeah, you always fill in the silence. We always let you go first. If you're the guest on something, we let you go first and get it out of the way, and then we jump in and say hello.
Wow, I'm feeling attacked right now.
Wait a minute. Are we gonna get a Respawn rant this week?
No.
No. All right, he said no. He said no.
About the most exotic quest, absolutely.
Just remember, it's talking stick, guys. I'm recording 2 tracks, my track and what I hear from you guys. So just be careful talking over each other. That way it'll just be garbled. So I know you guys use the bots that record your tracks individually, but mine doesn't. So just let you know. But what I wanted to ask you guys was this was the first week of Act 3 of the episode echoes. Yeah. What were your guys' initial impressions of the first week of Act 3? Did you guys play Act 3 the first week?
I think we've all kind of played. I think Respawn's played the most. I've seen him like helping people out, asking if people want to go through the exotic mission and things. And I know Peroty and I have got through the exotic mission, but then both been soft locked from completing it. And I did have some thoughts on it because I was saying to Peroty before the show. So I don't understand how Act 3 of like the story throws you straight into an exotic mission. I know they did that last season with the Star-Crossed exotic mission. You just kind of got thrown in there.
Right.
But for some of the people that were like, again, listening to a lot of YouTubers and looking on Reddit and Twitter, and people are upset about how hard it is. Now, I know you're going to say something about that, Respawn, but you know, people have genuine thoughts on this, that it's hard or it's too long or whatever, and they're having issues. And if you're a solo player, I don't think it's fair to be thrown straight into an exotic mission, especially if you're new. I mean, Peroty and I can walk into these missions and get through because we've been here, we've done it, we've seen it kind of thing. But even that, to be soft locked out of doing the mission is a pain as well. But I think that they should have done a story mission for this week and given people the option of going into an exotic mission if they want to, solo or with a fire team. Because the same thing happened, as I said, last episode or last season with the Star-Crossed. You couldn't progress the story unless you completed the exotic mission. And if people are finding it genuinely hard to actually get through that, then I think Bungie should have kind of come up with a solution to get around that, to continue the story, because otherwise you're just going to get to the point of going, well, I can't do it. I don't want to do Fire Team Finder. I don't want to look for a group. I like playing this solo. Then that person's going to drop off because they're not going to want to kind of play it anymore. But I enjoyed it
Well, I was just going to add to that, the Star-Crossed mission you mentioned, last expansion. I never got any of the catalysts because I had to run through these different, every week there was a different time you had to run through the mission, and it was harder. And I played a lot of stuff solo, and I admit I never got any of the I'm not a big bow guy anyway, but I got the exotic. I got the initial exotic bow, but I never went back to get any of the catalysts for it because it was just a lot of work. And that sounds kind of moany and complainy, but I just didn't. In Destiny, for me, it's all about the weapon. What's the weapon? What can it do for me? Where am I going to use it? And it's typically I'm going to use it in Crucible. So that's what I'm always looking at whenever I look at weapons. But what you said, you were soft locked. Explain that. What do you mean by soft locked out of it? Is that because of what's been going on Twitter, where people have been complaining that if they didn't play the first Act 1 and Act 2 missions, they couldn't get the exotic to drop? No. So
my Titan's been through the whole kind of story, and I logged on this week, went to do the exotic mission, started, found my way to the bosses and got past the Tormentor and the Subjugator.
Right.
Then got to the kind of the Hydra boss at the end.
Right.
Was dunking balls and opening kind of portals to get round. And then we got to the point where like these red force fields came up. I went and dunked the balls, killed the enemy, stood in the circle, generated the kind of thing to get the boss unlocked or get the little diamond near the boss unlocked so I could shoot it so that he could kind of come and attack me again. And the little diamond didn't show up to shoot. And it just doesn't seem to want to work. And listening again on other podcasts and on YouTube, found out that there's a way of kind of soft locking yourself kind of out of doing that encounter, because if he goes to the left, it seems to kind of lock you or lock the people out if you get past a certain damage phase on his health bar. So I think I'd done that. I'd gone too far past this point of like, well, we're not just going to generate that diamond for you to shoot. So he would kind of come out. And then I had to I'd spent like 20 minutes running around that whole arena, kind of taking a ball out of one place, putting it in another place, because I'm thinking, well, am I not doing a sequence correctly? And I was thinking, I don't want to look it up online. I want to kind of do it myself. And then it got to the point of like 20 minutes later, I was like, I'm going to look it up. And then when I looked it up and it said, you've kind of been soft locked, or other people had this issue that it just didn't spawn that diamond in to shoot, I was like, I haven't got time now to kind of restart. It's going to take me another 10 minutes and I'm already being shouted at to go out the door. So
wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know people are having problems with that. I didn't have any issues with that. I played it solo, and I'll share my opinion last, but I was curious, Peroty, what did you think of it, man? I jumping it right in that exotic mission right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of had the same experience going, well, let's go, let me jump into it. Let me try it out. Let me see how this goes. And got, muddled my way through. I just basically went into a blind going, well, it's your biggest thing yet. Let me muddle through it. Let me see if I can figure this out. Let me see how far I can get in the 90 minutes I have before work starts. So did that. I did look up one little part of the guide, because I'm sitting here going, I've been running in circles for 5 minutes. I know I've missed something. I'm clearly not seeing, the Vex version of event somewhere. And sure enough, I was missing the Vex version of event somewhere. So found where I needed to go to progress myself, got through the tormentor room, no problem, got to the boss, no problem. And then got sort of stuck the way Night Demon did. Got to the point where I'm going, I can't seem to get the boss to come play with me anymore. And we're just sort of hanging out in the room like, okay, here we are. What now? And did that a couple times, wasn't able to get past the boss. I've seen, and we'll cover a bit in the show, that there's just an issue basically in the second, like there's 3 segments of the boss's health. And it seems like if you basically do one damage phase, keep him in the first segment, blow by the second segment again, get to the third segment, you're good. Or in one damage phase, like if you're with a fire team, just blow through the first 2 segments and get him to the last one, you're good. But it's sort of, if his health sits in that middle segment, it's got a good chance of soft locking you, and it may have something to do with the left side or the right side of the room where he spawns you. So yeah, got stuck there, and then just haven't had the time to restart the mission and then go. Like it's not a long mission, it's not that big, but I just didn't have the time or honestly desire to go back through and start it from scratch and do it all over again. To say, let me see if I can maybe not get soft locked this time. So jumped into it, and that's really the extent of what I've played on Destiny this week, and just sort of haven't really felt the desire to go back to it, even though it's a good gun, even though it'll be fun. It's, again, I'm sort of really feeling oh my God, this is the best gun. It's the most amazing gun, until the next week when there's a next new and amazing gun. So I'm still excited to get it. I'm still excited to go use it, but I'm not dying to have it in my hands day one.
Now I'm curious.
And I got frustrated by it.
Night Demon and Peroty, I'm coming to you, Respawn. Did you guys play right at reset, or did you play later in the day? See, I played at night at reset.
I think mine was Thursday or Friday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think mine might have been right at reset. I think it was Tuesday morning where I had time to jump on.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if they patched that.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
I wonder if they patched that problem, because I didn't have any of these issues, man.
They have not patched it yet.
No, okay.
From what I've seen, they haven't patched it yet. They're aware of people having issues, but they have not said anything about patching it. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people aren't running into it, so it does seem to have something to do with like the direction of the room. Like, yeah, there's sort of like the back, left, and right, and there does seem to be something with like the left side specifically. It feels like,
yeah, okay.
If he goes over there's a potential to soft lock. If he doesn't, or if you blow through that middle section. So a lot of people aren't seeing the problem, but the handful of us are seeing it. I think Paul Tassi was one who mentioned, "Hey, me too."
Really? Okay.
And there's other issues where people aren't. The fact that you could run through that whole mission without having done Act 1 and Act 2 and then just not getting a reward at the end.
Yeah, that I was going to mention.
Just
that.
Feels
yeah.
Just feels bad. I mean, that doesn't seem like. How about you not let me start this mission, or say, hey, throw up hey, one of the players, one or more players doesn't meet the requirements, and flash them like you do on other things where people don't meet requirements.
Yeah,
to run through that and then just not get anything, and to have, because it's not like the game's going to tell you, oh, hey, go back and do the other acts. You just run through this and get nothing, and then go, is the game broken? Did I do something wrong? Is it both?
What Bungie should have done here is, if you didn't run the stories for Act 1 and Act 2, then the mission doesn't come up for you. It just goes back to Act 1 mission or whatever. And then people would, you know how we are, man. we love our content and we devour it. So I guarantee you, people did not play Act 1 and Act 2, and I did, for the record. I got everything on the first try. If it wouldn't have popped up for people who didn't run it, that would have been better, because then people would have gone to YouTube and Twitter and Reddit and figured out, why am I not getting this exotic mission? And then they would have gone back. That would have driven engagement way up, where people would go back and actually play those acts, knowing full well that that's what's going to activate the exotic mission. But the fact that it dropped right off the bat for everybody, and then people finally figured out all the puzzles out and stuff, and then got nothing, that's a black eye for Bungie. That someone missed something there, or a decision was made where they offered it to everybody, and that was just, I agree, that was not right. But I heard the tweets. I saw the tweets, and I can empathize with people like that. But hey, man, this is the new episodes. Play the act stories. Even if you don't want to, I mean, you're going to get the loot, right? All that cool Vexy loot. Come on, man. I went to you last, Respawn, because Night Demon and Peroty mentioned you brought a few people through this. So you've got a lot of experience with this mission. What did you think initially?
Initially, I didn't think it was that hard. And I'm not doing this from like an elitist perspective or whatever. I just didn't think it was that hard. And when I got through the first time, I even made a post in the Discord. I'm like, this is the biggest. How? Like, what metric are they using? Like, because in no way, shape, or form did this feel like a long, a hard, or a big mission, right?
Right.
I got all the way to the end solo, and then my game crashed.
Oh, no.
And then I went back in, and I did it with one of our guys. And we got soft locked first try. And then I was talking to Peroty. You don't have to restart it, dude. All you have to do is wipe.
Just die.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just wipe, and sometimes it'll fix it, sometimes it won't, but you don't have to restart the whole mission. Just wipe and re-roll the chance.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
But the problem is, if you have to go out, like Peroty and I were saying, that we literally only had 10 minutes, and we were kind of walking out the door. We were just hoping that like 5 minutes of that we would have been able to finish it.
Well, the boss, I did try the boss, I think like 3 or 4 times, and just never, between a combination of me eating myself into a hole with my crab claws and the game soft locking me, wasn't able to get through. Then I had to go work for a couple hours. And, again, if I could have set the game down, come back to it, could have finished it out. But the fact that I had to start over because it would have kicked me to orbit, that was my problem.
Let me ask you this real quick, Peroty. Did you have a checkpoint where you could go back to the last encounter, or did you have to run it all again?
Ran it all again.
Okay.
I did go to orbit and then go back into the mission just to see if maybe it would start me somewhere.
Right.
You're not even in the boss room, but just somewhere. Nope. From the very beginning, from the initial room. So that was my first question too. Going, well, let me at least disappoint myself now versus thinking I can come back,
right,
and then being mad later. Let me go to orbit, low zone back in, see if it offers me a checkpoint. And no, it didn't.
Good call. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
After we figured out that because we were doing too much damage. Like after I had done it the first time and I got the gun, I brought the gun in the next time with somebody else to test it then. And we did so much damage, that last little chunk where he hard locks his health bar?
Yes.
We got to that in the first phase, and every time we did that, he would jump to the left side and just get locked.
Oh my
right?
God.
So we're like, all right, let's not do that much damage. Let's see what happens. And we found out that if we just go down to that first thirds or whatever, he'll go into the next phase, and then that you can just chunk him down as much as you want to. You just got to get past that second damage phase, because that's where he locks up. If he locks up, right? And now the exotic portion, the catalyst portion, I ran that like 3 times yesterday. And pro tip, look up how to get the catalyst first, because I like doing things blind. So I ran it the first time blind. I ran it on hard mode blind, right?
Right.
And Micah wanted it too, so he jumps in there with me. We get to the end. We didn't get anything. He's like, did you look up the secrets? I'm like, what secrets? He goes, damn it, Respawn.
Secret chest, right? I heard something about secret chest.
Yeah. So there's 3 secret chests you got to grab. The first one does not count towards the mission. So don't freak out if you pick it up and your mission doesn't get that checkbox, right?
Okay.
You have to get past the first one. When you open the second one, it'll update. And when you open the third one, you'll get the catalyst. No, you'll get the catalyst at the end. But you got to open up all 3 chests, and the first one won't count. So don't freak out like I did.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But even a hard mode isn't really that hard. I do recommend all 3 chess mods be void resistance, because that boss, I was at 10 Brazil, I had 3 void resist mods, and still he was like 3-shotting me. And he shoots fast, so you get 3-shot like that, you know?
You're talking about the last boss?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Nothing is hard until you get to the last boss, in my opinion. Again, I'm not saying this as an elitist. I legit don't think it's very hard. I guarantee there's already people that have soloed this, 100%. Right?
Oh yeah, no, esoteric.
Yeah, I mean it's not. This is not one of the hardest ones. I'm upset when they said, "Oh, it's the biggest one ever." Like, what? Because the exotic? No, the exotic itself is awesome.
It is,
especially on a Void Hunter. Yes, because I rock a Void build that I've used since like season 2 or whatever. When Void 3.0 first came out, I have a build that gives me all 4 Void verbs in one build. Right. And I've always got Devour. I've always got Overshields. I'm always weakening. I've always got volatile rounds at all times. And with this gun doing the damage it does, it's next to none. I mean, it is just so good on a Void Hunter.
Well, I don't know how to break this to you, Respawn, but Bungie tweeted out that they made an oopsie and that it's going to get nerfed soon. That there's a bug in it supposedly where it's doing too much damage. And I admit I picked it up and I was going around just shooting stuff in the worlds or with it. And I was like, I'm never putting this gun down because I love Void already. I'm a Void walker. So I'm like, this gun's never leaving my side. And then I saw that tweet and I'm like, makes sense.
Did they say how they're going to nerf it? Like, because I know in PvP it's bugged because if you shoot the 1 round within 7.5 meters, it'll act like 5.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's the bug they're talking about, and if they fix that, I'm fine. But if they're nerfing the gun's overall damage, that's going to suck, because it's a special weapon auto weapon.
No, it's doing too much damage with Divinity, as they said, and it's holding too much ammo as well if you hold like reserves. But it's still going to be a powerful. And Gator, I just want to kind of clarify for people that, you were saying about people loading into this week and just going and playing the exotic mission. You can't. If you haven't done any of the story, it doesn't show up for you.
Oh, okay. So they did it right. Okay.
They did do it right. It's people that have kind of got friends that go, I've been playing it, but I haven't kind of completed Act 1 and 2. Just jump in with me and I'll take you through the mission. They're the ones that are actually not receiving it.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying, because I, of course, have played everything in Act 1 and Act 2, and it just popped up for me. But
I just double checked because I thought I'll load into my characters and just check my Warlock and my Hunter, who have done nothing with Act 1 or 2, and it just shows the opening kind of mission.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, because I'm sure everyone would have called me out in the Guardian Downcast feedback channel.
And the other thing is even worse. You can do it, bring your friend through it, and they get nothing, and it doesn't. And again, show me hey, someone's missing something before you start
the little red thing, right? They can't join the game because they haven't completed the missions. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Sorry, Micah. That's what happened to him because he didn't get all the way there.
It's almost like if you lay off half your company, you miss things. Just
yeah, no, but the gun itself is great, at least for now. The mission is not difficult, so jump in, get it now, and use it before it gets nerfed. Have your fun. Take it into an activity you've been struggling with.
Apparently, they're not going to touch it until not Act 2, Episode 2, which isn't coming until October 8th.
There you go.
So you've got until October 8th to play with it and have fun.
Absolutely. Okay. That's what I plan on doing with it. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you guys a question. I know Bungie have said that it's the biggest exotic mission that they've ever created, and everybody is completely underwhelmed by it. I mean, it doesn't feel like a big exotic mission. It looks big in space, as kind of compared to some of the other exotic missions. But for comparing it against Zero Hour, comparing it against the Whisper, it seems to have more, and especially with the timers, and I hate timers, the urgency of getting through those missions, and I'm glad there's no timer on it. But what I'm thinking is that the reason Bungie have stayed quiet on it, is it because it is the biggest mission that they've created, and over the next couple of weeks, where we have to go back in and do the expert versions to get the other catalysts,
right?
Is it going to be bigger because it's going to open up more areas, it's going to have more boss fights, it's going to do something? I mean, this may just be hope being thrown into the wind here. But with them saying it's the biggest mission, there's got to be more to it. That's what I'm thinking, than just kind of what we got this week and the expert version we got this week.
Could be.
Is it going to be is it going to be kind of, is the third week where you get the catalyst where you actually have to fight Maya Sundaresh at the end? Is it because everybody's underwhelmed by this giant Hydra? I mean, spoilers for anybody that hasn't done it. At the moment, the first week where you get the gun is just this giant Hydra. So is it going to be more than that coming like in the next couple of weeks? Is it going to all tie in with the story? That's why they're trying to get people into the exotic mission first. And then you go back through, you play the expert version next week and it's different because it has X, Y, and Z. And then the next week, another thing added to it. And then the final week is where we go up against Maya Sundaresh. I'd like to see the fact that if it kind of, we do that, we kind of knock her back. She goes off into a portal, whatever. And then she comes back as a raid boss kind of a couple of months down the line. I mean, the Bungie have still said that we're going to get raids and dungeons. So possibility of like even the dungeon. She's the dungeon boss for next episode. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no. So
I mean, after seeing what she did to her lover, do we really want to deal with her in the raid?
Exactly.
She basically waterboarded her partner into compliance.
That was terrible. Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that in a raid.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, see, here's the thing. I played the latest the exotic mission when it first dropped. I played later in the night on reset. I was looking forward to doing it. And I like to go in blind like you do, Respawn. Go in blind. Not know. I blacked out YouTube. I blacked out any social media because I did not want to know what was going on. And, you know, here's the thing I hate about Destiny exotic missions. It's this, collect these, go over here, turn yourself around and do the hokey pokey type of mission, you know, where they have you doing a bunch of errands to get the final story unlocked where you can finally run it. But I must say, it took me about an hour and a half doing it solo, totally blind. And I truly enjoyed the exploration, the various stages of the mission with loot chests in between. The mechanics and puzzles were just, for me, were fantastic. It made me think a bit, you know, how to traverse the underground areas with the connection and entry cores. I think I had to pick up and move those around to transfer the gates and, you know, get to all the rooms to unlock it. It took me a while to finally figure out that I already unlocked everything. I could progress to the next area, but I still did a few laps because I didn't think I was missing something. But, finally got through that. The last arena and room was fantastic. It took me a few tries to figure out, you know, the system, what I was trying to do. I kind of did it back-assward a little bit because I would build the platform. I would go on the circular area. I never got soft locked, by the way. And I got to knock on wood because now I'm going to get soft locked. And really had a great time doing it. I mean, the boss, as soon as I would, you know, as soon as I would open up the node and the boss would come running at you, I would rush to the back of the map and I would use all that structure back there. And then I would use the new machine gun that I just got, the Spilios or something. I don't know. And just laid on them. And, the problem I had, because I wasn't doing the system correctly, is he would go to shield really quick. And I had to chunk him down in like 8 phases because I was doing it solo. I didn't have a lot of firepower. But, I tell you what, man, this was exactly what I needed because I'm like you guys. I'm kind of getting a little fatigued from playing this game for 10 years and
don't lump me in with them too.
Well, okay. I apologize, Night Demon. But I mean, I'll admit I've been a little fatigued as well. And I think it took me 15 minutes just to figure out how to get in the damn puzzle. I was like, okay, I see a spear here at the beginning, but how do I get in the spear? I was going around it. There was like an open area at the bottom. I was trying to jam myself into little crevices and stuff. I was like, what is going on here? What am I missing? And then finally I realized you had to swing out and go through the top of it, which was fantastic design. But, it just scratched that itch for me. And I'm not being an elitist either, Respawn. I'm a very mid-tier player, especially in PvE stuff. I mean, you can ask people I raid with. They're usually carrying me along. I just haven't gotten the reps in, but this was very refreshing. The fact that I could figure out these puzzles on my own. I didn't have to go cheat it. You didn't have to go to YouTube and figure out what I was doing wrong. And I just settled myself down and I said, you know what? We're going to just figure this out. And once I figured out how to move the nodes around and open up the portals and to get to the next room, and then I had to get back out. I'm not going to spoil too much here, but, man, it was really refreshing. It was really refreshing. And as far as the biggest, baddest exotic mission, I would say for me, it's one of my favorites because I didn't have to go get certain amount of materials to collect over here playing this activity. And you know me, man, I don't like the seasonal activity. I don't want to be forced to play seasonal activities if I don't want to. I want to be able to just play anything. And it was just so refreshing. The fact that you
say this, but you did have to go and do,
I know,
run through the hoops, and you had to complete Act 1 and Act 2 before you could do Act 3.
True. But you know what though? Here's the thing, Night Demon. It's an episode. And if you just are jumping in just to get the loot, and you know, you're trying to just scrape the bottom of the mixing bowl and eat all the extra icing and not enjoy making the cake, you know, getting to that point, then I don't think you should have access to it. I think you should have to play through Act 1 and Act 2.
Oh, no, I am actually being attacked. Damn.
I mean, come on, man. This is the standalone DLC, right? It's a standalone stuff, a post Final Shape. If you want the exotic, play the damn game, man. I'm sorry. I'll admit, Act 1, super boring. And I hated the fact that they made you play the stupid seasonal activity. Like I would go to what's her name again in the AI?
Failsafe?
Yeah, I would go to Failsafe. I'm like, all right, Failsafe, what are we going to do? We'll go play this mission. I'm going to go play, go collect all these resources in this new exotic, or this new, seasonal activity. I'm like, what? No, I want to see some story. I want to run through some story and explore stuff. No, go play the activity. I hated that, man.
Well, I think, to be honest, I mean, with Destiny, it's got to the point where over the last couple of years, we've had the big expansions come out, and always the first, not episode, but the first season with that big expansion, everybody's kind of come to the realization that it's not that amazing because the full effort has been put into the expansion. I mean, you just have to shape for that. It's like, and we've got used to this, like, not half baked, but like a kind of very thinned out kind of season or episode as we have now. And everybody's looking to the next episode to be the one that goes, well, this is where we're kind of going. So they really need to hit it out of the park with the next episode and then the following episode.
I agree.
But I think what they're kind of building towards is not actually, like they've said, they're not going to be doing expansions at the moment. They're going to kind of focus on doing these episodes, which can make them bigger than what they actually are, which if they're going to be 3 a year, they could put the resources that they normally put into the big expansions into doing these episodes to make them bigger and better. And as I said to the guys only a couple of weeks ago on our show, it's like they plan everything out each week. Each week there is something to do in Destiny. Whether you like it or you don't like it,
it's on you.
They've got a kind of roadmap. We don't see it that much anymore. But, for example, we had like the first 3 weeks of Act 1. We then had a couple of weeks of Iron Banner. We then had something else the week after. The week after that, it was like the next episode. Then we had 3 weeks. Then we had like Solstice. Now we've kind of gone back to and there's always something to do in Destiny. And then once these kind of acts kind of finish, or the story kind of beat finishes, that's when you'll see your Iron Banner. That's when you'll see your Solstice. That's what, not Solstice, the Festival of the Lost, and so on and so forth. They do plan things out each week, but it's not like you're not forced to kind of come and do it if you don't want to kind of do it. But there is something there each week for players to play, and some players, like longer term players, are exhausted with it's another Iron Banner. But some players enjoy that. They enjoy coming back and just playing the Iron Banner, or they enjoy playing the bonus weeks for the Vanguards because they know they want to kind of get the extra drops or the adept drops to then kind of go and do their raids and things like that. So there's always something for people to do, which is, I don't think people give Bungie their due for that. And I think when they come up with, I keep getting the acts in the episodes, episode 2 comes in October and they drop it all in that first 3, the first 3 like story beats in that first week. I think that's where they're going to kind of come unstuck, because I think their plan was to kind of make sure that kind of people are playing it each week and doing a little bit each week with little things kind of here and there. And I think it may kind of have the community even more unstuck, because as I said, I listen to a lot of other Destiny podcasts who've all kind of been reduced in their Destiny content. And they're like, The Last Word, for example, they were like saying, well, when episodes 2 kind of drops, it's going to have all the story beats in the first week. So we'll be here for that first week, and then we don't know after that. We may kind of have a break for 5-6 weeks until kind of the next story beat, or unless there's something major in the TWAB. And if content creators are going to be like that, it's going to be quite hard to keep people's interest in the game. So I'm not sure what Bungie have kind of, they may have a plan. They may have got something planned for what's going to happen after you drop that first initial week going forward. I hope they do, but they may not. It may kind of be the undoing of them bowing to the people of saying, oh, I want everything you said, that acts and episodes are all going to be different from seasons. And it's like, it's not. It's all kind of, each week we kind of just have to log in and do something. Well, you don't have to. You can wait till the end of the season and just play like at the beginning of the season, what they're kind of giving you with episode 2. Like, you can log in at the end, play it all. You could have gone off and done other stuff in between, played kind of Solstice and not actually done any of the episode story stuff. But hey,
yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I had an episode with Kingsley Mack with the Guardian Hub podcast a few weeks ago, and we talked about other games where we were actually looking at playing, because the FOMO's kind of gone with Destiny now because of these episodes. And I kind of like this because we can come back to these episodes anytime throughout the year. You know, it's like you play a season, right? And yes, I agree. Now here's, you play a season, you know, you got the season pass, you got the seasonal unlock, the seasonal weapons and stuff. And, apparently and correct me if I'm wrong here, I can come back to any episode I'm curious about this. Do we still have a season pass bar for that episode, or is it gone? Because we haven't gone to episode 2 yet, so we don't really know. But I'm curious. They said it's a standalone.
Yeah, you'll have a new artifact. You'll have a new
for that episode.
Yeah, and new progression on a season pass.
Okay,
but you, like they did with episodes for that year, if you didn't play this episode, the Echoes episode, until kind of say in June.
Yeah,
you can go back and you can go back and play the stuff that we're playing now, just before they kind of do Frontiers, I guess, because they're going to need to clean out the helm like they did every year.
Sure,
you know, because otherwise the helm would be completely overcrowded if they put too many episodes in there or seasons in there.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that if I go, say, in February, I decide to come back and play Echoes episode 1, that season pass or that progression track will be intact in that episode to get those drops. Okay. So it is like it's like seasons then.
As far as I'm aware, unless they change things and it goes from, because we've gone like from 1 to 200 over this episode Echoes.
Okay.
Unless they carry on and it's a refreshed track, but it carries on like 200 to 300 for the next act, or not act, episode of Revenant, I believe it's called.
Okay.
So Revenant goes from 200 to 300 for Act 1 of that, and then Act 2 would go from 300 to 350, and then Act 3 would be 350 to 400. If they did it like that, so that people then have access to the whole thing,
that's what they need.
That would be quite interesting. Yeah.
You talk about bringing players back. That would be the way to do it, because if they're resetting the track, Night Demon next episode, then it is just like a season. Because in this track, I mean, they have ornaments, seasonal ornaments. They have the seasonal weapons built in. You know, it would be awesome to go back and play Echoes after taking like 6 months off and just going through and get to level 500, you know, start playing through the story, start playing the activities. That's what they need to do. That's a great idea. And I have a feeling that's not the case. We won't know till next episode, but I was just curious about that. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
And talking about like the acts and the episodes, and I've mentioned it to the guys on our shows, that how do you feel, Gator, about like the way that they're doing the Nightfalls with these episodes? Because what they seem to have done at the moment is do like the first 3 Nightfalls that we had for Act 1 were Glassway, Warden, and then Disgrace. And then they repeated those. So they did the Glassway with the GMs coming back, and then they did Warden, and then they did Disgrace. And then we had with Act 2, we had the Saber, Liminality, and Exodus Crash. And now with this Act 3, we've got the next 3, and then we'll get 3 weeks of those, and then the final 3 weeks will be those repeated. But what I noticed with kind of keeping a record of kind of the Nightfalls is that they will change some of the aspects of doing a Nightfall. So, for instance, say you're kind of doing the whatever it is this week, the Psyops Battlegrounds Europa, I believe it is.
Mm.
You'll find that kind of when you go through it and you look at kind of it's experts, they've changed it all, haven't they? From
the terminology, they've changed.
The terminology,
yeah.
So, for example, if you go through, I think it's advanced.
Mm-hmm.
We've got expert, master, and then grandmaster.
Right.
So, for instance, for week 1, you had like Fire Pit and Empath as a modifier, and you had the Arc and Solar Surges. When it came back around, like 2 or 3 weeks later, they would change some of the surges. So they would go with the surges for that week, because some weeks were like with Nightfalls and the strikes and the overthrow and whatever else is kind of in the rotation, the surges will change. So for week 1, or you'd get Arc Surge and Solar Surge, and then for the next time it came around, you'd get Arc and Void. And then with the Fire Pit and the Empath, that would be, say, for kind of your advanced difficulty at the beginning, kind of when you can get a fire team from just kind of matchmaking. And then when it comes back around, they'll change that and put that in kind of for the master, the Grandmaster version. So Fire Pit would be as a Grandmaster modifier the next time it came around. Are you liking them mixing it up rather than kind of being predictable than what they were before? Because it was just kind of set in stone before. You had those 6 Nightfalls and now we're up to 9 because of the longer seasons. And because they're repeated, you get different variations on them. I think that's interesting because it's something they haven't done before, and they haven't communicated that they're kind of, this is the way that they're kind of doing it to kind of keep the game refreshed, because you can't just walk in the same week doing the same stuff that you did that first week kind of thing.
Well, first, what are Nightfalls again? Just kidding. No, I agree. I think that's good to mix it up. I think it is. And if you remember, Night Team, I don't know if you run, Master and Heroic Lost Sectors. I love doing that to get the new exotic stuff from my other class, my other classes that I play. Yeah. They rotate those as well every season. I think every season they did that.
Oh, yeah. No, every season they rotate those. And so sometimes they keep them in, sometimes, the burns and the things are different slightly.
Yeah, because I like that. And, there's a whole website that shows you the rotation and everything. If you're wanting to plan it out coming up ahead, what you're trying to go for, like I need.
Yeah, the website's called 2 Titans and a Hunter, by the way.
It's like, I don't have the new exotic, what's the word? Pants, not Greaves, for the Hunter, the new exotic for the Hunter. That's the bottom pants. Oh, geez. Why am I having a hard time with words today?
As opposed to the top pants?
Yeah. No, not the top pants, the bottom pants. I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going there. No, I got it. But you know what I'm saying? I need to get those exotics. So the only way I know how to do that is.
You're talking about the balance of powers.
Yes. When I need to know when's leg day for the Master Lost Sectors, because I love
they
doing
don't do that anymore, guys.
They don't do that anymore, dude.
What?
You got to buy it from Rahul, brother.
Yes.
Well, what if it hasn't dropped for you yet?
You got to buy it from Rahul, brother.
No. Wait a minute.
Rank up Rahul, and then you'll be able to. Because that's what I.
Yeah.
When I went through the initial mission.
Yeah.
Campaign.
The initial story. Yeah, campaign. Thank you.
Right.
I made a silly decision and didn't choose the rocket pack for the Titans because I'm thinking this sounds good, but is it going to be good? Turns out, yes, it is. So you basically just have to go give Rahul all the pretty shiny things and have him open them up for you, and then do that.
Anything powerful, you gotta decrypt powerful gear, not just gear.
Sure,
you have to decrypt powerful gear with Rahul until you get to his 3rd page of stuff. Right?
Yeah, I've already unlocked all that.
When you get to his 3rd page of stuff, you go there and you can just flat out buy the new exotics.
Please tell me that's character wide. I mean, that's account wide, not character wide.
Don't know.
Rahul is account wide.
Okay, thank you. So I can go do that right now. Okay, thank you.
So you could not have completed the campaign at all on your other characters. Go to Rahul, and I believe it's like 2 exotic engrams and a cipher.
Yeah.
You can say, give me that new exotic for this season.
I love it.
Which, well, yeah.
I mean, because
I'm more of a fan of the RNG kind of dropping of stuff. I would rather go back to
the RNG is re-rolling it. That's your RNG.
Right.
No, I would rather go back to the Destiny 1 era of exotics being exotic to get, not, you've given me 2 exotic engrams. I'm just going to go and throw them at the Rahul, and he's just going to give me that exotic. I don't personally like that. I enjoyed the chase of not getting the Galahorn for the first year and a half. It was something to chase. It was something to do in the game. It gave me something to strive to get. Like people have when they go, I'm going to complete like 200 of this kind of Deep Zone Crypt to get the Eyes of Tomorrow. And I haven't got it on my 200th drop. Oh, we're going to give you protection on that. It's like,
well, that makes sense.
That was the whole idea of you go and play the game and you get a chance at this to drop.
Come on, Night Demon.
I missed that.
200 runs, really? How about 30 and you start getting protection?
No, I'm just throwing it out there, 200. But, it gives people an incentive.
He says that because he has good RNG. He's never been the victim of bad RNG like me. You know, when I got the Galahorn in D1, a week before Xur sold it and got nerfed. That's when I got mine.
Yeah.
But you got it in what, 3 years?
You remember that.
You do.
But it was awful. I was not allowed to do so many raids and so many activities because I wasn't lucky enough to have that damn rocket launcher on me. You know? That's not fun.
You didn't have the Crota rocket launcher.
Galahorn or quit, or Galahorn or kick.
Yeah, I didn't have either one of those, man.
I went through it too, man.
I don't understand. RNG. My exotic RNG without assistance is bad. Yeah. 19 was all like, oh, well, Respawn has all the exotics. Do you have any idea how many times I run these activities to get those exotics?
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole idea. They're exotic. They should be exotic to get. That's the chase of the game.
Now,
the problem is giving people too much of here you go, here you go, here you go. Oh, look, Xur's going to give you all of this stuff this week. You can just go. It's good for new players, and he did do that in Destiny 1. He gave you the option of a varied few that you could kind of get, but the rest of them you got as an exotic drop from just playing the game.
Now, Night Demon, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I've got to side with my Florida brother here because my RNG is terrible, and
RNG.
No. But here, when I play Destiny, when I play a looter shooter, I'm of the mindset: tell me what I need to do, tell me how many times I need to do it, and I will just go put the time in and grind it and get it done. Just tell me, give me the path, give me the path to get it. Don't hand it to me. Don't let me just go to the Cryptarch and buy it. I mean, I'll do it because it's there, but I would rather have to go run 10 master lost sectors and struggle a little bit to get it. Then I earned it. It dropped for me.
I'll tell you what, Gator. I'll tell you how to go and get things. Go and play the game, and if you do a legend lost sector, you get a chance. You do a master, you get a higher chance. You get an even higher chance if you do a grandmaster nightfall. You get even more of a higher chance if you go and do a raid and a dungeon, and you get like a 50-50 chance if you do a Grandmaster raid version.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because you just gave me a path. You just gave me a path. So I have no problem with that. No problem.
Because that's the way it worked in Destiny 1. People knew if they did their nightfalls, and we did it religiously. We logged on at reset. We went and did our nightfalls. We got our flaming crowns. And if you didn't get the exotic on your first character, you jumped over to your next character, you did it again. You went through the weekly routine of doing all the stuff you could. You then move on to your raids. You go through your raids, you get them done. If you still didn't get it, you could go and play Crucible and have a small chance at it to drop. But that was the interest. And even randomly playing, I remember kind of playing on Mars and just shooting Cabal at one point, doing kind of patrols and things, and an exotic dropped. And I'm like, that's amazing. And I think it was like the fusion rifle.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of it now.
The triple shot one.
Yeah.
It would just
and
appear.
That's where it dropped from.
Mission would just appear on Venus. I remember that. Gosh, blue flaming head. Oh my God, that didn't sound right. Hold on. When your head had a blue flame coming out, that didn't sound good either. When your helmet had a blue flame emitting from it that day you completed that Nightfall solo, that brings back some good memories, man. And people look at you like, oh my God, this guy ran the Nightfall this week. This guy's badass. Yeah. You'd strut around the tower. Now it's like, here, everybody can have everything. Candy for everybody. Give me the path. And if that's the path, let me know that's the path and I'll go do it, man. But hey, run Deepstone Crypt 30 times and watch your host get it 5 times before you get it 1 time.
But Gator, that's always what happened. That's always what happened.
But that's demoralizing, though.
But when we were playing Vault of Glass and we were playing Crota, we were playing Kingsfall, it was just a chance at that to drop.
Right.
Yeah, but when you miss that chance so many times, it becomes demoralizing. You don't want to do it anymore because you know you're not going to get it. You know,
you do. You want to do it again and again.
How about this?
No,
how about this?
You want to do it every now and again because you're a masochist.
How about this? How about the more times you run the raid, you get a little bit better chance of getting it to drop. That makes sense.
No, he doesn't like that. He wants a pure RNG.
Who's the elitist here today? I thought it was Respawn.
Exactly.
I'm starting to change my mind.
Exactly.
I'm not an elitist. I just want
people. He's just lucky.
Want to play the game.
Well, it only took me 5 tries to get it. It's not that hard.
I know there's been a couple raids where someone Sherped me and I got the exotic on the first try, so I can't complain. But it hasn't been nice to me since. So just give me a path. That's all I want. Just give me a path to get it done, and I'm happy. But do you guys want to add anything else about the about the exotic mission or your first week of Act 3? I didn't want to. I know Peroty has a heart out here, so I want to make sure we had time to. Anybody have anything else to add about the first week?
Not the first week, but see, the path to exotics was always be the lowest man on the Iron Banner team.
Exactly.
So everybody could see you doing the worst and getting the exotic, while everyone who's out slaying out getting absolutely nothing for their efforts. That was the best way to exotics in Destiny 1.
And put it at the end of the game
in PvP, and it would take pity on you.
Yeah, put it at the end of the game on the scoreboard so everyone can cuss you out as you left the game to play another match.
Yeah, precisely. That was the best way to get things. Do poorly PvP.
Thank God they've come a long way there. But yeah.
No, come on, bring that back.
All right, great conversation, guys. I do want to get to our topic of the week because I know I want to hear what Peroty has to say about this before he has to leave. So we'll be right back.
This is your weekly rundown of the final shape, week 14, starting on September 3rd. The 14th week of the new expansion brings with it another chapter in the third and final act of Episodes Echoes, as Guardians fight back against Maya Sundaresh and her Vex contingent. And for 1 week only, starting this Tuesday at reset, all heavy swords will have infinite ammo. This will be across all seasonal content, strikes, nightfalls, gambit, relic game mode in Crucible, and Legend and Master Lost sectors. Beginning last week, Guardians gained access to the new exotic mission Encore. Selectable from the helm, it has 2 difficulty options, normal and expert. Completing the mission will award you with a new craftable exotic void command frame auto rifle Choir of One. And repeating the mission weekly on expert will award you with a new crafting trade option each week. Plus, available for completing any version will be the Transient Whisper emblem, and on expert, the Before Aura emblem. Also available from Act 2, we have the 3 new battleground activities: Delve, Conduit, and Core, with Enigma Protocol and Breach Executable in the helm from Act 1. The expert battlegrounds this week will be Conduit. In the Pale Heart, the exotic mission Dual Destiny is available for teams of 2 Guardians, where you can farm the mission to earn as many new prismatic exotic class items as you like. The final Shape's cooperative focused gameplay mission this week will be Descent. The 12th Guardian Matchmade Excision mission is also available next to the raid for a weekly pinnacle, with the Grandmaster version granting you the Ergo Sum Catalyst and an Ascendant Shard. The featured onslaught map this week will be Vostok, with the Siege Hook Ogre kicking off the boss rotation. For our Legacy rotation, the Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Strand and has a Broken Courier mission for the next week. The Bloodwell features Scorn enemies and the Plagues, Sicarus and Ferricus. The Ascendant Chant will be the forfeit shrine over in the Gardens of Asilia. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is Beyond. The Trove Guardian is located in Archer's Line, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Hawkins in the Anchor of Light. Nightmare hunts Fogoth, Fear, Ghoul, Rage, and Tanix Isolation. The Altars of Sorrow will start this week's rotation with the Nightmare of Tanix and the Apostate Sniper. On Europa this week, Corridis the Dark Priestess will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Survival. Days of Eternity expert difficulty rounds are Vex, Cabal, and Crota. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Pathfinder armor set will be available in Days of Eternity with weapon set 4. Fractithis, Chrysia Amilo, Volpicula, Wolftone Draw, Iotona Draconis, Canis Major, Contingency Plan, Legal Action 2, Outrageous Fortune, Steel Syllabus C14, and Spoiler Alert. The Witchwing Weekly Story mission is The Arrival, Altar of Reflections Catalyst, and Altar of Reflections Insight. The Wellspring activity will start the week on attack, with the Arc Auto Rifle come to pass, and Golmag Hive Ogre as the boss. The Lightfall Weekly mission is Desperate Measures, the Partition mission will be Backdoor, and the Vex Incursion will be Zephyr Concourse. The Master Salvation Gen Raid Chant this week is the first encounter, Substranum, called Scenic Route. The Corota's End Raid Chant this week should be the third encounter, EU, the Death Singer, called Equal Vessels. The Root of Nightmares Raid Chant this week is the fourth encounter, Nezarec, called All Hands. The Vow the Disciple Chant this week is the first encounter, Acquisition, called Swift Destruction. The Vault of Glass Chant this week is the fourth encounter, Gatekeeper, called Strangers in Time. The Deepstone Crypt Chant this week is the second encounter, Atrax 1, called Copies of Copies. The Garden of Salvation Chant this week is the third encounter, Consecrated Mind, called Staying Alive. And the Last Wish Chant this week is the third encounter, Morgoth, called Forever Fight. Your Pinnacle Raid will be Kingsfall over in the Legends tab, with all challenges available for each encounter, with the exotic scout rifle Touch of Malice being farmable from the final boss. The Pinnacle Dungeon will be the Ghost of the Deep over in the Legends tab, and the exotic mission rotator will be Starghost, also over in the Legends tab, with the Wishkeeper exotic bow being the main reward. The exotic missions, the Whisper and Zero Hour, will also be available in the Legends tab. This week's challenges are Core Variables 2, Research and Development 8, Aggressive Exploration 4, Soloist, Europa Activities, Last Rites, Echoing Performance, Bank Kill Repeat, and Darkest Nightfall. Lost Sectors, Tuesday the Conflux on Nessus, Wednesday Thriller Dome on Neptune, Thursday Hydroponics Delta on Neptune, Friday Vale's Labyrinth on the Cosmodrome, Saturday Exodus Garden 2A on the Cosmodrome, Sunday the Broken Deep in the Pale Heart, and Monday the Blooming Deep in the Pale Heart. Our 14th featured Nightfall will sit face off against Sepkis Prime in the Devil's Lair over on the Cosmodrome, with the Izunami R4 Sniper Rifle being the featured adept weapon. The 6v6 Control playlist will be Control, Relic in the Party Relentless playlist, Elimination in the 3v3 playlist, 8v8 Sparrow Control in Crucible Labs, with Trials of Osiris at the weekend. And we should have bonus Vanguard ranks and double Nightfall rewards available all week long. Plus, don't forget to keep an eye on Zer this Friday at Reset to see if he's offering another chance to grab a random rolled exotic class item for 41 strange coins. And that's it for the 14th week of the Final Shape.
So our Respawn Report Roundup brought to you this week by the letter P for Peroty. We have a couple things from Bungie Help. The first thing they tweeted out this week is we're currently investigating issues causing the Encore exotic mission to not appear in the Fire Team Finder, and a bunch of other things that Destiny 2 team is going to talk about. And they're also aware that of reports of some players are completing the Act 3 exotic mission and are not receiving any rewards. So this is their reminder and our reminder to you, dear players. You need to complete all of Act 1 and all of Act 2 quest steps before taking your character into a Rising Course Act 3 quest before launching the mission. So if you've been taking a break from the game, you need to go do all the other things, which just involves running around Nessus and shooting lots of X in the face. Do that, and then you can actually play the new exotic mission. Otherwise, it won't go very well for you. In the whole change that they talked about last week, saying, hey, we added Crucible rewards to private matches to give you a slightly more casual environment to earn legendary weapons, armor, and even post-game catalyst rewards. They just mentioned that, hey, PvP can be tricky no matter your skill level. So this was a push. This was a change they pushed apparently with the final shape, but I swear I did not remember seeing this in any communication, any patch note, anywhere. Destiny Fun Police says, is this the final headshot for the PvP community? LOL. D2 Team says, would hope not. We have balancing plans and more to share with you soon, but this is a small change that shipped at the launch of the final shape that we wanted to let players know about. Custom games can be fun. We just wanted them to also be more rewarding, which is kind of a nice change because that's kind of why I've never really played private matches. You want to have more time to play because you got literally nothing from them. So they were fun, but at least, if I'm going to play the game, give me a chance at rewards. So now in the final shape, you can do that. Thistle Fangirl 7 asks, hey, can we get any updates on the name change situation? And basically they were saying earlier in the week, hoping to get this sorted out this week. Long story short, our name filter got a little trigger happy. Had to do some fine tuning on the back end. They're still working on it. And then this is updated by later in the week, them basically saying on the 30th, hey, we fixed it on the 30th on Friday. You've got name change tokens. Use them, but also be aware of the Bungie name change policy, because if you run afoul of that, it will trigger again and put you back to Guardian, whatever your hashtag is. We have Pathfinder updates coming. So, regarding the Pathfinder, planned for Episode 2, we're planning to split the Pathfinder card per activity for Crucible, Gambit, and Strikes. So more details soon, and they share 3 screenshots, one of each, that are from a recent development build, subject to change, pardon our dust, etc. Bread, says DMG, because we know that's him typing this. So if you're tired of, going into Strikes and having to go play some Crucible to get your Pathfinder done, or vice versa, or playing the best mode ever Gambit and going, oh, now I have to go do a strike or something to get this done. Now you can pick one of those things and just stay there. But Paul on Twitter says, a bit sad about this, not going to lie. Usually when I did my weekly comp matches, I'm only missing 1 or 2 nodes that can easily be filled by doing a strike or 2. Now it's really just like the bounties we had before, only you don't have to go pick them up at the vendor. And D2 Team replied, well, each card will have some generic objectives that can be completed in other activities. If you look closely at the pictures, you can see the non-specific nodes in a few spots. So, there are some things you can just go do as generic things. I looked closely, but I did not see which ones they were. So if you do want to sit in one activity, there is hopefully, you go do something random or just go out and patrols and, get a number of kills or something, you can complete those as well. Had a small patch today, which we'll talk about in the patch notes. Highlighted a fix with the cryoclasm aspect would deactivate on subsequent slides if the player sprinted after the first one. And they're eyeballing some Prismatic Hunter tuning for early September. Smokes, Swarms, and Spectres. Oh my, stay tuned. And also Fake Happy on Twitter says, hey, D2 Team, does the team have any timeline on the Consecration / Diamondlands Crystal Shatter? Still not working, and not any updates in a while. And D2 Team says, episode 2 is a plan, stay tuned. So that fix is coming. If you've been going to get your new exotic weapon this week, they're very happy you're enjoying the domination of enemies, leveraging the new Choir of One exotic auto rifle. We wanted to make sure we communicated early that there are a couple of bugs that we've identified with the weapon. First, the weapon is holding far more ammo reserves than was originally intended. Hipfire projectiles are dealing more damage than intended when buffed by Divinity. We've started planning the bug fixes for these, but they're holding out until episode 2 so you can have more of a fun time. All in all, this is a bankier in your favor. Go shred some raid bosses, or leverage those auto rifle artifact mods and Grandmasters. Show us the mayhem. We'll have more details on the fix next month. Until then, have fun. Quick question, Stadia Time knows that the Choir doesn't seem to have the same bonus against frozen players that other special weapons receive since it's coded as an auto rifle. Is that intended? D2 Team says, interesting, we'll pass this along. So I'm guessing no?
Yeah.
No Filter Games on Twitter says, whoa. And again, this is in response to the new mission. Before you implement the Bungie No Fun Team nerfs for this weapon, how about fixing the final boss from that exotic quest? I would think that would take a higher priority than the exotic weapon No Fun Teams needs. And the team responds, as noted in the comms, we're specifically holding the above mentioned for episode 2 to allow players to have some fun. The team is tracking a few issues with the exotic mission, soft blockers, among other things. Once we have more details on a fixed timeline, we'll be sure to shout them out. So, and just, because there are a number.
Is the pain.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and this is from No Filter Games sitting here saying, hey, I can't recommend the new Act 3 exotic quest until it gets fixed. Because all you've been reading is correct. The final boss is really bugged. In my case, the trigger mechanism for the second DPS phase simply won't trigger, and you're just stuck sitting in the room with no way forward, which isn't great. So, and their final point is, thanks for the reply. My point is, you normally announce that there's been challenges in the final boss and it's being worked on. The team says, hey, we'll follow with some folks and get some more Bungie help communications out. And Paul Tassi sort of has a recap so far, sort of what we've said, on the exotic mission. So far, we have no rewards for doing the mission if you haven't done everything in both acts. So you can still play through the mission, but you get nothing out of it if you haven't done Act 1 and Act 2. Boss the bugs out being perma-immune, this happened to him. And secret chests not counting for the Catalyst quest. And Bungie team basically just says, hey, we're digging on various reports of issues. If you are having trouble, just a reminder, go to the help form on Bungie.net, report what you're seeing and report how you're seeing it. The more information you can give them on how we're encountering these bugs and issues, it'll make it a little bit quicker for them to solve. And there is sort of a current workaround on the soft lock on the final boss, which basically just seems to be skip the second phase. Basically, there's three phases or 3 health segments, in the fight. The middle one is buggy, and this person's been able to reproduce it. Burger in the Rough on Reddit. It talks about this. I've only ever gotten him to spawn on the left side when it happens. Need more testing on the right side, so maybe the right side works, or it's just less buggy. So if you get the boss into the middle health bar and hit an immune phase, you'll soft lock yourself during the next damage phase trigger. Because of the hitbox spawn for the weak point colliding with the laser walls, it will never spawn after capturing the plate. My tip is to either be fast enough to get past the middle health bar in your first damage phase, he says easy with a full fire team, or stop damaging just before the end of the first health phase, easiest when you're solo, and wait for the immunity phase to trigger. Then in your next phase, you can push the health bar past both triggers and go straight to final stand. So basically, stop doing damage before you get to that second segment, or blow through the second segment into the third to sort of bypass, and that should, hopefully, at this point, get you through the soft lock. Fingers crossed. There's a fashion show, because why wouldn't there be? As announced in the TWAB, Sword Logic is coming. What if we had a fashion show to celebrate? Show us how sharp your Guardian can be. Fashion around your favorite sword. 7 winners will be chosen over the next week. Your prize? The Felis Galaxius, which is the lovely pinky purple sort of galaxy with the kitty cat design. So, see you on the runway, Guardians. And one of the responses is, hey, a chance we can get a more generalist fashion show for a TWAB? Been holding on to some of my best Warlock fashions for such an occasion. And the team just says, soon.
Just equip a sword. Just put a sword on with it.
Yeah. Put on a sword. Boom, bam. Done.
Yeah,
perfect.
Done. Dusted.
I saw that the Destiny 2 team was on Reddit responding to people about the Choir of One, just saying, hey, it's holding far more reserves, and basically some answers on, what exactly is going on. So to your point, IT, the team says, speaking with the team, it looks like they did attempt a bug fix before this launch. Sadly, the fix didn't hold through the release. So they thought they had a fix in place for the reserve issue, but something happened and it got bugged when it was released. Sucks when things like this happen. It's not fun to put out a fancy new toy and have to change it or even communicate changes a couple days after. At least the next few weeks will be OP, so have fun for that time at least. So again, the team is aware that it sucks to say, here's a hot new thing. Oh, the hot new thing is broken. Now we have to make the hot new thing cooler. Or, less cool, I guess. And right now, they're saying, it should be about 400 reserves. I'm sorry, right now the weapon can hold 400 or more reserves. Sorry, don't have an exact figure on hand. Expect it to be closer to 200. So I think right now, like if you put on reserve mods and max out the ammo, it'll hold, around 400 shots. It's going to be about half that, again, with the reserve mod. So as a high end, as a max, about half of what it's doing right now. So we'll see what those numbers actually are when it gets released. But current numbers is, so if you have no reserve mods on, 250, and it can go all the way to 382 with 3 reserves equipped currently. So it says Spider Slayer 690 on Reddit. So we'll take those numbers, and it'll be significantly lower than that when they push the fix next month. Do we talk about this week, Night Demon, or do we wait for the screaming to commence next week?
We could tell the people now. Or you could tell the people now.
Yeah, but so you don't forget. So again, coming in early September. So these are both going to be PvE and PvP changes. So for both aspects of the Hunter, your Threaded Spectre aspect, increasing the cooldown duration of the Marksman dodge and the Gambler's dodge when Threaded Spectre is equipped, removing the dodge cooldown penalty when creating a clone. If the clone is destroyed by attacks, it no longer spawns Threadlings, and increasing the amount of time the clone will distract nearby combatants before exploding. So your Swarm Grenades, increasing the Swarm Grenade base cooldown by 15%, and moving the grenade to a slower recharge tier for non-passive grenade energy gains. Your Smoke Bomb Melee, reduced the time that the Smoke Bomb projectile lingers on the world from 10 seconds to 3.5 seconds, and reduced the player movement speed penalty imparted by the smoke by 25%. Additionally, there was a few more changes planned for episode 2, so they wanted to ship those along with the changes above, but they need a little more time in the oven. So these are not, basically those are the changes that are coming soon, early September. Some changes coming later down the line is the Threaded Spectre is going to increase the detonation damage versus combatants by 33%. And your Swarm Grenade submunitions will be easier to shoot, and the submunitions will chain damage to nearby submunitions. So, more changes coming, but sometime later on. And just sit for a minute and enjoy not the sound of screaming until next week, when you'll have a new batch of screaming to deal with. Have a Destiny 2 update, 8053 this week.
Yeah.
The one right before the 100 changes. For Solstice, they fixed an issue where the Flamekeeper event challenge would not count toward completing the Reveler title. So now it does. Which saying you've either done it or not because it's over. Fixed an issue where the cryoclasm aspect would deactivate on subsequent slides if the player sprinted after the first one, as mentioned above. Got that fixed out. Also, for your Solstice things, the non-glow version of the Solstice 2024 Sublime Armor was not available for Warlocks for armor synthesis. If the player has not unlocked the glows, they will not be able to see the unkindled ornaments. But they corrected the issue also where the non-glow versions of the Sublime Armor were missing the names on the armor synthesis screen once the glows were unlocked. So basically, if you had the things unlocked, you should now be able to armor synthesize them. Fixed an issue with some Korean localization for numbers of bounties, and fixed an issue with some Solar and Strand objectives used incorrect terms for the subclass verbs in Pathfinder. So if you're reading something in Pathfinder going, that doesn't make any sense, now it should make more sense.
True.
Always.
Yeah. So yeah, I think update 0.8.0.5.4 would probably be Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my guess. Either this Tuesday or next Tuesday, or they might do one of their Thursday patches.
Possibly.
Since they're just saying early September and not, hey, the day where you normally see these.
I feel that they knew, because last week on the show, he said he wasn't going to be here this week. So they went, he's not going to be there. We'll push the patch. We'll tell people what's happening. He then won't be able to moan about it. And then by the time he's next on the show, he'll have forgotten about it.
He'll just be out there.
Yeah, he'll just be there.
There we go. It's a perfect crime.
All right, for our topic of the week, with the colossal failure of Concord, and as a longtime Destiny player, I'm curious what factors you consider when trying a new game. And maybe in addition to that, what does Destiny need to do to keep you playing post-Final Shape? Are you guys burnt out on the live service games and gaming in general? I'm just curious what you guys, that is our topic of the week. I'm just curious what you guys have to say about this. I'm going to start with you, Peroty. What do you think about what I just asked there?
Oh, I don't know what a Concord is. I think it's a city in the Northeast, so that's the extent of what I know about that.
I thought it was a grape jelly, like Concord grape jelly.
I thought it was an airplane.
Oh, there you go.
Could be all of those things.
Good pull.
All of which are more successful than whatever the game was, apparently. Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much every game I've ever been into, up to and including this one, was because someone was like, "Hey, we're playing this. Go get this." I'm very motivated by cooperative games, by team games, by saying, "Hey, we're going to go buy this game." I have a shelf full of games where we're going, where friends have said, "Hey, we're all going to play this. You should buy this," and I buy it, a week or 2 or 3 after they do, and then by the time I play it, they've all stopped. I get it and get up to speed. They've all stopped playing it, given it up. Destiny being the exception to that rule. So I think, games I end up playing, it's usually someone else is playing it, so I have someone to play with, preferably cooperatively, or if not, at least someone to go show me the ropes and hang around with, and just go play with other people. Most of the new stuff, and Destiny is my, it is my gaming mistress. Destiny is the game where I'm going to spend the bulk of my time. So anything that's like, I've got 17 hours and 19 quests and a treadmill to run on, I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not interested in another deep and commit yourself to this and keep going on the weekly track or the daily track and what's going on with it. So the other things I tend to play are more like crafting survival games or things that don't really require that much of me, where I can say, I just want to go chop some wood or just go mine some rock or work on this little house I'm building. And I don't want to be, I'm not trying to make a bar go up or hit milestones all the time. I want to go hang out. Destiny is my, I'm deeply ingrained in this game and this culture and know what's going on with it. And other things, I just don't want that level of commitment. I want to hop in and hop out and be very casual about it.
Now,
so that's sort of what I'm looking for.
Is that how you got into Destiny? Is because friends of yours were playing it, or was it something you just fell into? Like a lot of people just discover it by accident, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is awesome." How did you actually find Destiny? I could probably go back in the episode you're on and realize that, but I'm just curious since you mentioned it that way.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was Panoramics 18 was like, "Hey, I got Destiny at a Redbox this weekend. This seems cool. It's from the guys who made Halo. You should check it out." So I think either through GameFly or either GameFly, Redbox, something. A week or 2 after it came out, I'm going, let me pick this up. Let me see what this is and how this is, because I knew it was from the makers of Halo, Bungie's new thing, but I didn't really know that much about it because I don't really follow gaming news. And yeah, fell into it that way, met all you lovely humans, and here we are a decade later.
I got a question for you, Peroty. Does GameFly still exist?
I have absolutely no idea.
I was just curious. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that phrase in a long time.
And at this point, Redbox barely exists.
That's true. That's true. Good, fair point.
They do have a website. So GameFly does exist as Gamefly.com. Okay. So they seem to still exist.
I stand corrected.
And GameFly, if everyone's going, what is that? It was basically, Netflix for games. You could say, hey, send me a game. You play the game until you get tired of it, send it back, rental video games.
I thought it went away when Blockbuster went away. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I have not thought about them in years.
Wow. So, okay, if I'm hearing you correctly, then it's more about community. It's more about, being involved with your friends and doing something on a Saturday night, right? That's kind of your take on it?
100%.
Okay. What about, I'll mix it up here. What about you, Respawn? I mean, Concord was such a bad failure, and I don't know if it's lack of focus on what people want to play, because I actually heard from a lot of people that said it was actually a decent shooter. It was actually put together well, but, what is it that you look for? I mean, I only play Destiny, but I'm looking into other games, and I'm just curious, when you're looking for the next Destiny game out there, what do you have to have in place? What are you looking for when you're thinking about diving into another big franchise?
I guess you could say I'm the epitome of what a guardian is, and I'm just a loot goblin, right? Mm-hmm. I like a game where I can get a bunch of loot. For example, like if you look at my Steam library, my favorites are going to be like all the BioShock games, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to have all of the Monster Hunter games. And then I'm going to have all of the Borderlands games, right? Call of Duty games, things like that. Destiny, right? I like loot. I like different kinds of loot. And I like loot that makes me feel powerful. And in the case of games like Borderlands and Destiny, just weapons that do just like, kinds of things, right? Like in Borderlands, there's a gun that will yell at you and insult you when you shoot it. Right. So I like loot. I did like different kinds of loot. Having people to play with is a bonus. Until I play Destiny, I've never really played. Well, that's not true. I used to play Call of Duty professionally, but that was more of a job than it was anything else. And, loot. I like loot. I like guns. I like feeling powerful. Is what I enjoy. I don't like games that repeat things. Like we were talking last week about the game that they were going to say was going to be the Destiny replacement, not killer, but the Destiny replacement, which was
First Descendant.
That one, yeah. And it's good. You definitely get some cool guns, which are about to get improved again. But the problem is how you get things and how your character evolves, right? In Destiny, you get abilities. In that game, you kind of get abilities, but you only have so much space. And then you have to grind an item, which will make your, quote, abilities cost less to equip.
Right.
And then you have to keep doing that over and over and over again. And then when you use one, it resets your character skill level. So then you got to level the character back up again. And the same thing with the weapons. That is not fun. The repetitive shenanigans is not what I find enjoying. And you're going to say, well, Destiny is just the same thing every other week. That's true. But things like Nightfalls, they change how you have to do them. They change the nightfall that's there. And then you have raids on top of that. And then the raid that you do depends very heavily on the team that you have. Things like that. So Destiny takes a repetitive experience and kind of changes it up a little bit. That way it's not the exact same mirror image every time, But yeah, that's what I like is loot, getting strong, and shooting things.
Well, hold on. There's something you said at the beginning of your answer. You play professionally Call of Duty?
I play Ed once upon a time.
Did you play on a team? On a clan?
Yeah, we were sponsored and everything for a while.
Dude, I never knew that about you. No wonder you kicked my ass in Crucible. Damn it. I even threw Hazel at you and you still kicked his ass.
Well, Hazel had it worse than you. You learned from his mistakes and you did much better, but
well, you went invisible for 30 seconds. Let's make sure we're on the right track here.
I mean, hey, if you got it, use it. You had rifts. You were floating, right?
I know.
So
I'm not jaded at all, man. Can't you tell? I'm not holding a grudge at all. Anyway, let's move on. Night Demon, what about you, man? What do you look for when you're looking for the next Destiny game? Because for me, I'm always out there looking for something that's gonna compare to Destiny. But I'll be honest, Elden Ring was probably the closest thing, but there's really been nothing out there that offers everything that Destiny does. And I know you're a diehard Destiny player like I am. That's why I went to you last. What do you think about that, man? What are you looking for? And are you burnt out? Are you tired of live service? What do you think?
Well, I mean, looking at Concord, I mean, I haven't really kind of followed anything apart from what I've heard on podcasts this week, is that, it's a team-based first-person shooter that's only on PS5 and PC. I mean, that's half the problem, is that you're kind of cutting off people to play your game. It's not going to be a good thing for it. So, and from what I've heard, it is a good game. So it's like, from the bones of it, apparently it's a really good. So it isn't something that would interest me to play. And I think the thing is that you're looking at kind of replacing Destiny when maybe you shouldn't be looking to replace Destiny. Destiny, if you enjoy playing Destiny, should be Destiny. That should be your game. You should want to kind of play that. Don't look for a Destiny replacement. Look for other games that you could play on the side that you could also enjoy, that would kind of keep you kind of like Peroty does, like I can't remember is it the Stardew Valley? Does a bit of Stardew Valley. Some people play Minecraft. Some people go and play Fortnite. It's just something that if you're not feeling it in Destiny at that point in time, go and play something else. And I joked about it at the end of the show last week with the guys that I was seriously looking at playing Star Wars Outlaws this week. Mm-hmm. And I looked into it, that Ubisoft did their kind of premium. If you paid, I think it was like $15.99 for a month of their premium, you had access that had the 3-day early access, and you didn't actually have to pay. Didn't have to actually kind of pay for the game, but you got all of what like the premium edition would be. You could also play it on PC, and you could also play it on your Xbox, depending on where you kind of wanted to play. It did say it was cross-save as well at some point, but at the moment, I don't think they've got that working. But I have been playing that, and it's not Destiny, but because it's Star Wars, I enjoy Star Wars. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to kind of Assassin's Creed with kind of the sneaking around. And I haven't kept up with the Assassin's Creed. I've played like, I think 1, 2, 3, and then I can't remember. I think the fourth one, the Black Flag, was the fourth one, which came out on the Xbox One. I stopped at that, and my kids play like the one in Egypt and the Greek one and that. So I'm not burnt out on Assassin's games. So I'm actually enjoying doing the sneaking around. It's in a Star Wars universe. I love doing the kind of the bounties. It's a bit like Red Dead Redemption as well. You can just stay in one area and do billions of bounties and amass a wealth before you can kind of even go off to another planet and do things like that. I think I've played I'd say about 10 hours this week. Played the early access, played a bit on the Xbox, enjoyed that, and then jumped onto the PC version so that I could free up the TV for everybody else to play. And found out that I had to start again because the cross save wasn't active. So I started again and played on that. But it's not Destiny, but it was just something else that I could enjoy playing. And I enjoy playing Gears of War with the family. We have kind of horde nights where we kind of just go through waves of the enemies and build up our bases and do that. We don't really play the multiplayer we played the campaign, completed the campaign, but we don't kind of play against each other. I used to when I was younger. And that's another thing. I think as you get older, the games that you like or the games that you kind of play do change as well. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's like when I was younger, it was all about your gamer score on the Xbox. It was all about beating your friends with your gamer score.
I remember that.
What game could you rent out that I think there was a Naruto game that one of my friends got hired out, and you could kind of stand on one corner of the map and do a backflip or something, and it would give you the 1,000 gamer score points. And that's all you had to do. You didn't have to even play the game. But it was all about the gamer score points, and it was the showing off of the gamer points. And as I've got older, it's more about kind of getting into the game and enjoying the game and just sticking with that one game. And that's what it's kind of been with Destiny. And I do love playing Destiny. And it's just that, I like Star Wars, and this game kind of piqued my interest of playing. I'm also interested in maybe playing the Indiana Jones again, Star Wars, Indiana Jones films kind of thing. It's my kind of thing. But saying that, I will play Fortnite, the PvE version of Fortnite. I have played the PvP with my son, had a couple of quick games, and we've had a good laugh. But it's all about where you are in your life and where you kind of what you want to kind of do. So if you enjoy playing what you enjoy playing, nobody should stop you from doing that. So
sure, yeah,
it's all kind of changed for me, but I'm still Destiny 2 100%. Just I will play it every week religiously. I will go and do stuff. The Star Wars game is there to play, and it can be one of those games that I can sit down and I don't have to put any thought into. I can just go off and do a mission. I can pause it whenever I like, which is nice, so that if I'm called to do something in the house, I'm not arguing with the fact that, I've got to get to this mission or get to this save point before I can then kind of come and do something. It's like, and that's, one of those things of a different game does different things.
Yeah, I really thought about this week, because this has kind of been in my mind. Seeing how bad Concord flopped. From what I heard, they had like 600 concurrent players, and I heard I think I heard on Twitter. I keep saying I hear. It's like I can hear a tweet. No, I saw on Twitter that it's not even a sustainable online game anymore because the player base is so low. I cannot imagine how much of a miss that was. And everyone says, well, it's because it was $40. Everybody wants free to play now. But what they forget to tell you, like the First Descendant, it's $40 or $50 for one skin and a few goodies with it. You just bought the game. How is that free to play? If you want the bunny with the big boobs and the big butt and you want to run around in a bikini shooting people, it's $50, man. And not to mention they time gate when you craft stuff. It's the ultimate grind. And I've just immediately said, this is not free to play. Yes, it is free to play. I can grind out everything and look like a normal default character, but I guarantee you 50% of the players out there aren't going to do it. And this is what has kept Fortnite going for so long. They don't make their money from people buying the game, and it is free to play.
Well, they did. Initially they did.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was just PvE game.
Yeah, it was.
I bought into it. I got the premium pack.
It was a zombie game.
Founders pack, I think it was.
I remember that.
And it was over $100, and you got access to all the zombie game, and that's what I really enjoyed. And then when they branched out into the battle pass and the PvP side of it, that's when the game took off. But that part was free, and it's always free. Right. And that's what I say about Destiny, is that Destiny's a free to play game.
There's a lot you can play
aspects
for free.
And a lot of the Crucible. And the Crucible is where they should keep it fresh to keep players into it. That's what Fortnite does. Yep. They still have the zombie part. You can still go and play the seasonal events for the zombies. They do one for Christmas. They do one for Easter. They do one for Halloween. You name it, they still do it in the PvE side of it. But where they kind of branched off and they, make money from the skins and things, but they changed the maps. They changed how you play, various different things in the PvP side of the game. And that's what keeps it fresh and then people then go, oh, what's this thing you've got over here? I could pay and play the PvE side of it if I really to as well.
Right.
And that's what they should do in Destiny, is focus more on the PvP.
Yes.
Because that does bring a lot of players into the game.
Well,
who will then play the PvE side of it.
Let's look. I'm on Twitch right now and I'm looking at all the top games that are streaming right now. Apex Legends, League of Legends, Valorant, Grand Theft Auto 5, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty Black Ops. It's the beta's out right now. Counter-Strike, Escape from Tarkov, Dota 2, Fortnite, Teamfight Tactics. This is League of Legends. These games have been out forever, man. But you know what the common thing? You know what the common thing? You just nailed it. It's all multiplayer. It's all PvP. I'm coming up with a video series right now on my YouTube channel to try to get some of my PvE and my older gamers out there to try Crucible. I'm giving some tips and tricks on how I approached it and stuff. But if you look at this is what keeps the games alive, is the PvP aspect. And the fact that Bungie focuses on PvE first, and then all the scraps go to the PvP side of things just boggles my mind. You nailed it. You nailed it, Night Demon, because if they can bring in people to play PvP and then someone says, oh my God, where did you get that gun? Oh yeah, I got that in a raid I did last month. Then what do you think they're going to do? It's a looter shooter. They're going to go figure out how do I get in this raid? And I need to get 5 friends together, or I can go to Fireteam Finder. That's the way they need to pull in players to Destiny, is through the Crucible. But the problem is most people who play Destiny, I get that same old reaction. Oh yeah, I don't do Crucible. That's not me. That's not my thing. And I'm like, dude, why not? Every game is different. It is such a new experience every time you jump in. And if you look at Apex, League of Legends, Valorant, Grand Theft Auto, this is an online world. You can shoot people and stuff. World of Warcraft, online, Counter-Strike 2, Escape from Tarkov, Dota 2, Fortnite. These are all PvP shooter games. And these are the top stream games in Twitch as of right now. So
I think the thing is with Bungie's though, when they see their raid races and their raid runs, and they go to the top of the Twitch directory and they go, oh, this is what we want all the time.
Yes.
I think they had it so perfect, or not so. I think it was perfect towards the end of Destiny 1, where they had that good balance of giving us the PvE content, yet they were still delivering on the PvP side.
Every expansion, you got new maps, right?
New maps, every expansion, and the maps that are still in Destiny 1 that haven't been ported to Destiny 2, it's a goldmine of maps.
Absolutely.
It's just waiting to come over. And I know it's rehashed content, but it would keep the game mode fresh in Destiny 2 to see those maps come back or change slightly, as they did with some of them coming from Destiny 1. Well, it looks like this one in Destiny 1, but it looks like this in Destiny 2, and they slightly altered it, maybe because of different
but think
reasons,
about it.
But
you're going to play this map that you played in Destiny 1 at 30 frames, and now you're going to play it on 4K or 1080p or 1440 at 60 frames or 120 or 240. My God, that's a gold mine. And I hope Sony listens, because if they're talking about rebranding, they've talked about how they're going to rebrand Destiny and improve the new player experience. Crucible makes all sense in the world. If you want to get new players into this game, you got to show them the fun that is Crucible. And I'm probably biased here, but the gun feel, the gun handling, the movement around the maps and everything in Destiny 2 Crucible is fantastic. And this is coming from an old, decades long Call of Duty player who played multiplayer every night with all of his buds. Consistently until Destiny arrived. This would make perfect sense, man, how to get people into this game. And then because of the fact that the Bungie magic, the Destiny magic, is that you can grab any gun playing anything in this game and jump right into Crucible and try it out, or look for that perfect roll, right? Or you can craft a gun, or now you can enhance guns. They're moving in the right direction here. But the fact that we still have such few maps to play in Crucible, the sandbox, I think, is one of the most balanced right now, other than a few hunter issues out there, which I heard they're nerfing that. Sorry, Respawn. But they're improving a lot of things. They're always tweaking stuff in the Crucible to make it fair for however way you decide you want to play. Just makes sense to me. So I was writing a few things down of the reason why I've invested so much time in Destiny. You got to have challenging missions that reward loot that's comparable to how challenging the mission is. Feelings of the game that it'll be around a while, as a lot of live service games today come and go and just aren't supported. I like an investable game with economies and, more importantly, progression. I want to be able to show myself off in game. I want to show other players that I've been around a while and have something outwardly that they can see that shows that I'm a veteran of this game. And they did that with Guardian ranks. They made a step there, right? But these one player games like Black Myth Wukong, would you play 30 or 40 hours of it and it's over? It's complete. So but that's how it used to be. You used to buy your cartridge, you played the game, and that was it. It was over and done with. Right.
There was none of this PvP kind of stuff until kind of the online came in, kind of took off.
Right.
And when I got the original Gears of War, we found loads of people that we played online. We'd constantly be matched up against them. And then it got to the point we invited them to be friends. And some nights we had like 25 of us on, and we would all be fighting to get into the two, because originally Gears was like 4v4. So we'd all be kind of in chats waiting for our kind of turn to get in on the teams and play against each other.
Right.
And we would be up all night just playing constant PvP. We loved the game. The game was amazing. And they would add more and more PvP maps to the game. They gave like, I remember like the game had been out kind of a good 6 to 12 months. And they just gave 4 free maps because the game was just so popular. And they would do that for each kind of iteration of Gears that came out. You would get like a good map pack of kind of the PvP maps, and then they would add more to it, you know, free for you to kind of just log on, download, and just play. And you could just play against your friends, or you could play competitive. It just made so much sense, and it got people into the game and enjoying the game. And you know, it was a bit like Halo. Mm-hmm. You've got your selection of like about 4 or 5 weapons. You've got power weapons on the playing field. You could run and get those, and just go to town. I mean,
and you had ranked games. You had ranks. You worked yourself up in rank.
Destiny had it there, and they had like. I mean, we've seen it slowly kind of come back with the 8v8 Sparrows that we've kind of got.
Right.
Big team battles in Destiny 1. Why has that never come back? Why has Sparrow racing never come back? It's like these things that you had in Destiny 1 that, I mean, people kind of say now, like, oh, you know, Sparrow racing wasn't that good, but it was fun to do something different in Destiny.
Right.
It was just something different. You know, Trials was around to kind of carry people through various different rough spots in Destiny 1.
Right.
And now it's kind of this thing it's there. It's still kind of meant to be this competitive point for players to play, but it's been watered down so much in kind of, oh, we'll give you the rewards. If you just play the game mode, we just throw the rewards at you.
It's much easier today.
And that wasn't what Trials was about back in the day, you know, and
I completed a Passage of Persistence solo last week, and I got my, I got my adept weapon, my adept submachine gun last week. And I got to tell you, man, I didn't spend all weekend playing, because who the hell has the whole weekend to play a PvP game? Unless you're 13 years old and you don't have any responsibilities in life, it's kind of hard to do that. Or you're a streamer and you're making thousands of dollars every week. That's different. I'm a guy who has a job already, and I want to just be able to jump in and get some loot for playing. I want time, for my time invested. I want to be able to get some return on my time, some fun out of it. I disagree there. I think that the fact that they've made more versions of Trial, more different ways you can approach the game. I love what they're doing now with Trials, because it's more inclusive and it's still competitive. It's, 19 minutes, still competitive as hell, man. You're still going to go up against sweaty teams.
No, I'm not saying that it's not competitive, but they've altered what brought people to Trials each week to kind of go up against other players. They've had to water it down because of the player base kind of slowly of dropping off.
But here's the thing. It's still card-based matchmaking. If you're on 5 wins or 6 wins, you're going to go up against another team.
No. We played a couple of weeks back. Us three, we went after the show. We went and played. We played the same team twice. They beat the hell out of us twice. They must have been on a higher point, because we had only ever won. I don't think we've even won one game at that point.
Right.
We were kind of just on this losing streak, and they came in, slapped us around, and then we loaded back in, and they slapped us around again. It's not card based. You can't tell it, because they're definitely a step ahead of us.
I've been playing on PS5. Yeah, I've been playing on PS5, and I know PC, the lobbies are smaller. I mean, the player base is smaller on Steam, so it could be the case that there's just not enough players to spread it out as often. But we were going to say something, Peroty?
Oh, I mean, I agree. I remember looking, I didn't look at those groups, but I've looked at the past one we've gone in, and just the people you're matching us up against are, I've been flawless 26 times. I've been flawless 190 times. Yeah. And we're going, why are we seeing you? This is our first game on a no-win card, on no win, no loss, but like we've stepped foot into this, and you're just putting us up against, the best of the best, going, you can tell me what the matchmaking is. And maybe the population is just so low that that's what I'm getting thrown at me, but this is not a thing. The other thing I wanted to say is, just about their, and like what you guys were saying, you need to invest in the game and PvP and the sustainability of that. PvPVE is a, gateway drug into That's PvP, true. Potentially getting people in the door.
Are you saying that Gambit's going to save Destiny 2? Are you really saying that?
I'm saying Gambit is just another thing on the long line of game modes and things that Destiny has said, we're going to do this, and then we're going to throw it on the floor and just forget it exists.
That I agree.
Instead of making the investment there, we tend to talk about Halo a lot because of where all those big team battle or the action sack playlist, which is just, silly games. The amount of, respawn screams every week, just give us the ability to make maps and let us play our own things. You could load up Halo and it was a full world of things. And you could go say, I want to go do hard things. I want to go do silly things. I want to sit around and drink with my buddies and just do, load up stupid multiplayer maps that who knows what we're going to be doing next. Like, instead of growing the world of Destiny, we've just shrunk the world of Destiny. So it's like you have PvE or PvP. We put up a lot of investment into one, largely forgotten about the other. Now we're kind of starting to bring it back. But even just getting back to a point where you put everything in the game you've put into the vault would be a good starting point to get us back to a more robust game.
Sure. Yeah. Respawn?
No, I just, like Peroty said, every week, just let us build our own maps,
Forge.
I don't like the space magic PvP in this game, which is why I'm a PvE player predominantly, but I would play more often if I got to build my own maps or check out other people's maps and whatnot. Even if I was losing, if it was fun, I'd do it.
Yeah, here's the thing is, you guys played in a full fire team, and there's a reason why in the persistence card that it gives you, you don't lose wins. In other words, you have to just figure out how to get 7 wins and you get to the end of the card. Playing right now, because it is team-based matchmaking, it is much harder. It is much harder for full fire teams not to go up against other sweaty fire teams, because let's face it, most players who jump in a fire team every weekend to play trials have been doing that for years. They know how each other plays. They played together for years, or they're part of that pool of elite players that just like to just pounce on people and get a kick out of it. But I tell you what, if you play it solo, it is a totally different game. And I have to admit, one of my goals this season or this episode or post Final Shape was I wanted to play more trials, because I've always been a little too intimidated by it, because you would just get stomped and stomped and stomped. But the fact that they have solo queue now, I think has made it so much more enjoyable. And like I said, it took me about, I want to say, a couple hours of playtime to get to the end of my persistence card. And I don't know where you guys are finding these 36 times flawless people. I went to Trials Report, and I had total potatoes I was playing with. I don't know where these players were when they joined my team. I did have players that knew what they were doing. You could communicate with them, without having to use a mic, and you guys would work together because you played enough 3v3s. But I really think that Trials has, other than the player base has fallen off because it is at the end of its life cycle, I really have enjoyed playing solo Trials. But yeah,
come play PC Trials with us. It's not
no.
I'm
not going to play a PC lobby with a controller. I'm not going to do it. No, I know for a fact that I'm going to get 360 shotgunned with someone who's playing on a mouse versus my sticks in the mud. Not going to happen. I don't care if I put they tried to fix that by making your sensitivity on your controller like
some of the best player in the world, Grenadier Jake, he's a controller player.
Yep. But how many flawlesses does he have? And how long has he been playing this game? And by the way, I watch him.
Flawlesses in the entire game, actually.
He does. I watch him. That's all he plays every weekend for a decade. So if I played for a decade straight and I had, Fancy to play with me every weekend to help me out, because he always brings on a killer. And then he carries someone, from a raffle or whatever. And it's not always a carry. Sometimes it's another good player, just whoever wins the raffle. But I very much enjoy watching Grenadier Jake, and he's even said publicly that, I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a little burnout playing Trials. And
I saw that on next.
He's been playing for a decade. I mean, anybody would be burnt out at that point. But the reason I only play Destiny is I want something that I can invest my time in and know that it's going to be around for a while. And I've played video games ever since 8-bit Atari. I really want cutting edge graphics. I want the game to feel good, especially shooter games. And Destiny has just never disappointed me. I mean, yes, you're going to get some, it is a peer-to-peer game still, Somehow it's modified where they still go in through the bounty, through the Destiny servers, but it's still peer-to-peer, and you're going to have some networking issues from time to time, depending on what time you play during the day. But for the most part, it just feels so much fun and comfortable playing a shooter game like Destiny because it is cutting edge. It is the best graphics. I can play this at 200 frames a minute if I want. And it's just something, and I think the reason Destiny has prevailed for so long, and also why I can't stick to other games that aren't Destiny, is that feel. And the fact that Destiny is still fully supported. It's a two-way communication between the developers and the studio and its players. And that's been evident by the fact that Bungie has adapted their game. They're trying new hardware modes in Crucible, things that I've mentioned on my show. Let's have a gun game. Let's have it where we're only using guns and no abilities for people for people who want to try out the guns, and not have to worry about getting Nova bombed, things like that. And they've done it. And I've played it. It's been a lot of fun. Some people, it's not their thing. For me, coming from Battlefield and Call of Duty, I love it. It's a lot of fun. But Concord tried the Destiny method. They tried to gatekeep with these time-gated cutscenes every week, but it's a PvP game. And if it's not a PvE game like the Destiny world is, I don't really think that works. I mean, they're trying to do something totally different. They're trying to have character development and story development in a PvP game that people jump in and out of, and it just doesn't mix. And I think that's why they really they missed the mark there. But I consider it like an Overwatch game, and I played Overwatch for several, probably almost a year, and it was fun, but it just wasn't that serious shooter like Battlefield. It wasn't realistic. It was more cartoony, and that's kind of the feeling I got from Concord as well. But I don't know. I just got to thinking about it today, or this week, in fact, when I was putting this topic together, and like you said, Night Demon, I love the fact that every week Bungie is throwing something out there to play, because I'm sure you were with me in 2016 at the end of Rise of Iron, where there was radio silence from Bungie and they were working on the next game and nothing was happening. There was nothing going on. We had to play for an entire year without any new content. And I don't know if they can do that again. I think they need to put some kind of episodic or the seasonal events that they have, which I play all of them. They're a lot of fun. It's a good way to, farm bright dust. It's a good way to get some of the seasonal weapons, which some of them are really good. Some of them are really crap. But I just think that Bungie needs to keep putting out something to do every week, whether it's Trials of Osiris or competitive or a new story in the episode. So, anything else you guys want to add there?
No.
Okay. Now, the one thing I want to mention too is, being that I'm a more mature gamer, and I'm only 9% of the gaming player base out there. I'm definitely in the minority here, but I think storytelling in games needs to be more mature. And I'm not talking mature like bloody and very graphical, but more stories like there are in movies, better plot scenes, not knowing really how it's all going to end at the end. I must admit that most of the stories in Destiny 2 were pretty innocent and very predictable. I mean, there's exceptions like the Witch Queen. That ending just blew me away. That Witch Queen expansion. Stuff like that really was fantastic content. But I'm really hoping that the Witness story could have gone a little more unpredictable. Like we kill the Witness. Yay. Game over. I was really, in previous shows leading up to Final Shape, I was really hoping that what if the Witness wins? What if we don't get we don't reach the threshold to make sure she does die, and then it goes another way as like an alternate story or something. I thought that would have been really, I'm sure it's a lot of development time there, but I just am curious. Do you guys think that the stories in Destiny 2 and games in general are very predictable and very cookie cutter, or am I wrong there?
Well, I'm going to say that I think the storyline in Destiny 2 is one of the best things about the game, lore-wise. I don't think they take enough advantage of it in-game, They give you most of the lore, like on weapons and vehicles and things like that. But if they incorporated more of their actual lore into the storyline, that would be amazing. They have it. They just need to use it, you know? And there's not been a whole lot of predictabilities in this game, right? Like Cade dying. Who saw that coming, right?
Yeah.
The Witch Queen being resurrected. Spoilers, by the way. Who saw that coming, right?
That was awesome.
I mean, not a lot of the game, I would say, has been predictable since I've played it, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, I do think the storyline's really, really strong in this game, and they should lean heavily into that in the future, you know? And like I've said in our show many times, you've got all kinds of stuff you could always go back to for more content. You could play as Shen Malfur or as, what was her name? The lady, Iron Lord that sacrificed herself to save everybody else from the Siva.
Aphrodite. No, not Aphrodite.
Aphrodite.
No, it wasn't Aphrodite. It's somebody else. It's one of the Iron Lords.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have so much to work from, and you could totally dive into that and have entire sequences that you could, you know, build from. You know, there's all kinds of storylines where people are just like, well, what happened? What happened? You know, in the beginning, whenever we first got Cade's stash, even Cade was convinced that Ace wasn't real. Ace was somebody he made up to keep himself going, to keep himself,
right,
air quotes, honest, right? And then we come to find out later that Ace may have actually been a real son that he's got, you know? So you've got it there, Bungie. Just dig into it.
That's the problem, though, Respawn, is that's all in the lore. It's not in the game.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like bring it into the game. Let us play.
Absolutely.
Let us be the bystander when this happened, you know?
That's very deep.
Well, let me see when Cade does decide to become an EXO and why, you know? Let us be like a friend of his or something, you know? Just.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely, if they included more lore, and this is why I think Sony should act and come out with some kind of series like Last of Us, where they can explain and lay out the game better. And that would attract so many other people to the Destiny game as well. So, do you guys have any goals going forward in the next 6 to 8 months here before Frontiers comes? Because I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see. They're waiting for Bungie to speak up and say, here's what Frontiers is going to be. And I've speculated, like I always do, about what I think Frontiers should be. I think it should be like a total open world where they can add stuff to it every week or add stuff to it every quarter or every month, like a new boss or a new area that opens up on this open world, like crashing on a planet. I don't know if you've listened to my past episodes, but I was thinking, you know, we leave the solar system and we crash on this planet, and it's a totally hidden planet. We have to discover it, and everything's cloudy, just like a lot of Discovery games out there, until you go in those areas and unlock them. I'm just curious if that sounds feasible to you, as far as I guess everyone's been speculating about what Frontiers is going to be, and I guess we're trying to wait to hear what Bungie's going to say about it. And I know their 10-year anniversary is coming up soon. I don't know if they're going to do anything for that as well, but just curious.
Yeah, there's a few spoilers for that. I don't think you can get into, but
okay, I'll leave it alone.
There's a 10-year thing.
Everybody hadn't been fired by then yeah.
But that's like what I was saying earlier. Is like they've planned things out every single week for people to do. So once these episodes, once the Act 3 episode story finishes, I think that's when the 10th anniversary stuff will come out, and they'll probably tell us in the next couple of weeks about what that is. Although you can go and look it up. There's leaks.
Sure, and I'll refrain from putting that in the show, because I'm sure there's people who don't want to be spoiled on it. But yeah, I was just curious, because I mean, I still need to complete the Salvation's Edge raid. I mean, don't at me. I have a lot of stuff I need to do for my Hunter and Titan that I've neglected. I have remaining fragments of my Prismatic subclass I need to get, because it's a little more difficult this time around to get all that unlocked. I'm definitely playing more Trials of Osiris. I'm playing more competitive every week. Obviously the episodes, that's there. I'm definitely going to complete all those to the most extent. I'm going to try to do more streaming game nights. I'm creating more videos on my channel, and I'm looking forward to the seasonal events, like the Halloween events and the Dawning coming up. All of that stuff I've always enjoyed as well. So did you guys have any things that you're wanting to do going into the next, before we get to Frontiers? Did you guys have any goals or something on your to-do list that you're wanting to do in the game?
See the lighthouse? Question mark?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean,
No, I think just play what, the story that we've got, play it out to the end, and then enjoy the content that Bungie will provide over the next couple of months with leading us into the next episode, and then follow that and just keep playing and enjoying what they're giving us, and pull my hair out, because every season there's more guns, there's more armor, there's more stuff that just has to squeeze into that tiny, tiny vault.
yes, mine's overflowing already.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it 700 or 600 now? I can't remember. 700, and it's almost full again. Yeah,
almost.
Well, like I said in last week's show, if it wasn't for Crucible and trying different rolls on guns, then I would probably not have a full vault. And if they just let everything be craftable or enhanceable, then you could eliminate a lot of stuff from your vault if they just had it that way. But I won't go down that road this week. I've already had that conversation. But yeah, I just appreciate you guys stopping by today. This was awesome. Great conversations. And Peroty had to leave. He had some family obligations he had to take care of today, but I appreciate him being on the show as well. A lot of good input. Any final thoughts before I go, guys? Wait a minute. No Respawn is speechless?
He's stumped. I go quiet. I wait for him to talk.
Score. Finally made him speechless.
You're not speechless. I just don't have anything to add.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Any closing thoughts, Night Demon?
No, I'm going to be here every week with Respawn when he actually tells us he's going to be here every week.
Man, you couldn't find that recording because it didn't exist.
I found it. I just wasn't going to play it now.
Doesn't he always figure out how to make it every week anyway, whether he's on a plane or...
Yeah, I should have just factored that in.
Detriment of others, yes.
I mean, you guys say, well, he's not going to be here, and then he pops in every week.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think I've even opened YouTube.com. Have you opened YouTube.com? And was there anything there Destiny related that wasn't 7 versions of, hey, this gun is good?
Well, I do have 7 versions of this gun is good. So for our tips, tricks, guides, and builds this week, it is basically all to do with the exotic mission. So we've got an easy solo guide from Mactix, and there's a few kind of bits that you kind of need to do to get this kind of done, especially to get past all the bugs. So we'll drop that in there. Ibontis has his solo guide as well. His is longer, but I think he encountered the bugs in his because he was talking about on his show this week and what to kind of do to kind of get around that. And he's also got the week 1 secrets, so the catalysts and the secret chests and things as well. So there's 2 separate videos from Ibontis this week. We have the solo flawless Encore mission from Esoteric. So he's got his solo flawless for that. We also have the damage testing on all the bosses this week from Sneaky Beaver. So he goes over all the raid bosses and how insane it is at the moment anyway, because I mean, as we know, it's going to change slightly, but for the moment, it's doing really good against the bosses. We then also have 3 other videos. We have the Embraced Identity sniper rifle in PvP, and Cool Guy says it's juiced. And there are a couple of good rolls that he kind of recommends for you for that. And then the new trace rifle that was available, the Chronophage, I believe it's called. Say Wallabra has a video on that because it's got a 0.6 TTK in Crucible, and he shows you what you kind of need to kind of do that. I'll give you a hint, it's high ground, but yeah, that's a good one for PvP. And then Plunder the Booty this week has come out with his new magnificent choir build for the Titans, and this again is using the new auto rifle with the Titans on a prismatic subclass. So there's all of those, all to do with kind of the new Act 3 of episodes.
Excellent. Yeah, well, I'm excited to eventually get my hands on this weapon so I too can look at all the cool things, because I sort of in all the excitement I kind of glossed over that it was craftable and you can adjust it and do more things with it and put more things into it, or I guess not craftable, but the catalyst will let you swap it around to make it better.
Well, what I'm thinking is that I wait until week 4, I believe, that all the catalysts will be available, and then just do all the chests and all the kind of all the puzzles all at the same time in the last week, and just unlock it all at the same time. So then that way I don't have to keep going back through, because that's how it's worked, wasn't it, with the Starcross mission that we had last season, that you could just do the last week and unlock all the catalysts all at the same time, which was quite nice. So I'm hoping to do that. I'll get the auto rifle and then do it all in week 4 and unlock everything. But yeah,
I think that's how I've done all of these missions, going, let me just do this all at once. Then I can get them all straight through, or run it twice because, whoopsie, we forgot one of them.
So yeah, I think it's time to thank the people that have listened to us this week and always.
Indeed. All right, well, we really appreciate you joining us this week, Gator, dear listeners, and our lovely patrons like Zep Orbit and K4, who cannot be threatened with a good time. We know. We didn't respond to their houses. We tried. Our Otter Dance Troupe of the T-Rex King, Scarlet KM, Mellow Mally, Dedicated M64, and Renard Calant are amazing, amazing dance troupe. Because, I mean, when you're threatening people with good times, you need dancers to cheer them on. And why do they dance? Oh, you know why they dance. Because of grenades. So many grenades. These fine folks have taken Shax's words to heart. Golden God 1562, Noble, Basically Assault, Fire Squad 1688, and Coderson 105. They throw so many grenades. And Deacon, still down in the lab with her Day 1 raid team of Dimwee, Gravy Jeff, and PP Pipe. So thank you all of our lovely Patreons for joining us, and thank you, dear listener, for joining us. Night Demon, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Because your Titans are you and me, Peroty and Night Demon. Your Hunter will be back next week. No one's respawns in real life. We're on YouTube. We're on the internets. You can find us, Two Titans and a Hunter. You can go to twotitansandahunter.com for all your show notes and all your information about what this is, where to find it, and all those fun links we've linked to and videos we've mentioned. If you've got thoughts, email the show, twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. You can find this show wherever you get your podcasts. And really, you should be following us on YouTube, because that's where all the new episodes go up, the weekly update videos, your shorter, your longer versions of what's happening in Destiny. Destiny's given up on telling you, but we haven't. And if you want to join the Outer Dance Troop, threaten us with a good time, or throw more grenades, join our Patreon, patreon.com/TTAH. If you want the thrill of live action, spicy language, and sometimes live versions of the show, twitch.tv/no-one-responds-to-real-life. And if you want to head over to twitch.tv/twotitansandahunter, we may go live there, we may do things, and then you'll know when that happens. Until next week, Night Demon, any closing thoughts for the people?
It's got to be deuces from our Hunter.
It does.
And from me.
Until next week, goodbye.
Deuces.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
This concludes our broadcast day. Good night, and God bless America.